These two teams met a season ago in Austin. It was a 1-point win for the Bears, 45-44. Becker kicking for the Longhorns, and we are underway. Alfani Muhammad, former state sprint champ, is drilled to the 17. What'll be 1st and 10 for the Bears. Davis Webb, starting quarterback. Webb, a senior, 6'5", 230 pounds. Out of Prosper, Texas. A grad transfer from Texas Tech, and he has some great numbers early in the season.
Yeah, one number they don't like at Cal, at least the coaches, he threw it 72 times last week. They had no balance. They lost their rushing attack. They're looking to bring that down a little bit tonight.
5 receivers on 1st and 10, empty formation. This Texas defense has been stout this year. Well read and incomplete. Number 46, Malik Jefferson, Rod, was there virtually to blow that play up.
Well, Jefferson can do that. He's a big star athlete, a 5-star recruit, and he's very well aware of Cal's ability to get the ball on the perimeter. They are in tune to Cal's short passing attack, the Texas defense is.
Another empty formation, 5 receivers on 2nd and 10. Webb tosses, and it's going to be caught right at the 1st down marker by Melquise Stovall. Stovall can be a little bit of a factor when you look at the fact that Chad Hansen has been the primary target all season long.
So be a little bit like a basketball game, Jonesy. Both of these teams will go very fast.
3rd and 1, and Malik McMorris, number 99, a 310-pound fullback in the ballgame to lead the way. 3rd and short. On the jet sweep, they get the 1st down. And it's Melquise Stovall again.
It was the combo of McMorris getting to the edge, the 310-pound fullback with a little block, and the speed of Stovall getting outside. You'll see more of that. Cal wants to run the ball more tonight.
Both these teams will play fast. Again, a 16. Webb fires complete. That's Hansen on the edge. Breaks a tackle and has another 1st down. Right around the 30-yard line. A missed tackle there by Sherrod Evans of the Longhorns, number 1, a 26-yard pickup. And they're up at the line of scrimmage already. From the 33. Handoff to Nwaneri. Nwaneri picks up about 4 on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 6.
You know, Jonesy, you think about this air raid offense and you kind of go, well, why would they want to run the ball so much? They ran for 280 yards last season against Texas, and they feel they can run it tonight, and that'll give them some balance.
Second and 6. They're going to pass it this time. Webb under heat. Fires a strike. Touchdown Bears. Jordan Veazey with the grab. $29 yards for the score.
This is starting from last year where they scored 45 points. They come right back. Great protection. Veazey runs a corner route, gets behind. It looks like Sherrod, and that ball's right on the money.
What a toss by Davis Webb. And it's 7-0 for Veazey. That's his 2nd touchdown catch of the season and the 2nd of his career. And what a great start on the opening drive of the ball game for the Cal Bears and their quarterback Davis Webb.
Well, it began with the protection. No one anywhere near Webb had plenty of time, and that allowed Veazey to have plenty of time to run that long, slow developing route where he had to come across the field.
Well, Rod, Jake Spavital, the offensive coordinator, the Bears said that he wanted his quarterback Webb to show a little bit more poise, go through his read, show patience. Looks like he did just that here.
Well, there he is on the inside. You see him just running that corner route after faking the post. That's a slow developing route. You need a lot of protection, and Davis Webb got it.
So this young Texas team, who has seen 14 freshmen debut on the field in the first couple of games, gets shredded a little bit there on the opening drive. Oh, Beto going to kick off. From the 2, it's Chris Boyd. Looking for an alley, but brought down to the 17-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 to start things off for the freshman quarterback, Shane Buechele, a 6'1" freshman out of Arlington, Texas. Already in the record books in so many different ways, the first true freshman to start the first 2 consecutive games to begin the season in Texas history.
Oh, Jonesy, the challenge for him is this road environment. He's shown us an awful lot in 2 games in Austin. First road trip of his collegiate career.
Comes from good athletic lineage. His father, Shane Buechele, played professional baseball for several years, right now a bench coach for the Texas Rangers. And they hand it off on 1st down across the 20.
You mentioned his dad, Steve, and what a tremendous opportunity for Steve and his family to attend the opening game against Notre Dame. As the bench coach, the Rangers told him, "You're not working today. Go watch your son."
Nice for them to keep family in mind, and that's going to be a 1st down run by Chris Warren. Texas Longhorns will use a couple of backs throughout the night. Deontay Foreman, number 33, and that guy Warren, who picked up 6. And the Longhorns also playing very quickly tonight. A couple of teams that are in the top 10 or near the top in FBS football in terms of pace and plays per game.
They both snap it around 20 seconds normally.
1st and 10, Buechele complete out to the edge to Ja'Cory Warwick. And Warwick, with his 10th catch of the season, picks up 15.
So tell me, Jonesy, how different is this from NBA fast break? I mean,
that's like 7 seconds or less on the shot clock, right?
You don't even get to the 24-second shot.
Folks, don't blink tonight. And don't expect many replays. Buechele has it batted in the air and out of bounds. Dangerously so. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
So if you're wondering how a true freshman as Buechele gets comfortable with this offense, as you see a really nice play by Devontae Downs getting up and knocking that one down. He ran a very similar offense in high school. Everybody in Texas runs a spread offense.
Does that transfer?
Absolutely.
2nd and 10. Back to pass again. That pass caught at about the 49 by Amani Foreman. Picks up 8 on the play. Tackled immediately by Franklin. And 3rd and short coming up. They get to the line quickly. About 2 to go. Warren picks up the 1st down with about 2 yards to spare. Quint talked about it a little bit earlier with the size of those Texas backs. Foreman and Warren both right around 250 pounds. Going deep. Incomplete. Intended for Ja'Cory Warwick. He's working against Vanderbilt.
Well, that's what this offense is. I mean, it's short passes to the outside, deep passes, and the power running game inside. They try to suck you in to deal with the rushing attack and then take the big shots overhead.
Wow, they got a bunch of talented, fast, tall receivers there.
Good looking receivers. 6'3", 6'4".
Opening drive for Texas here. That pass complete to Jake Oliver, the slot man. Oliver, a 6'3" receiver out of Dallas, picks up the 1st down. Got 10. As they near and approach the red zone. Buechele, little receiver screen, complete to Burt. And Burt, with that world-class speed, picks up about 9.
All these little passes. This is stuff Shane Buechele has done for years. He's comfortable with it. They're getting him settled in this road environment.
Little pitch and catch here to start. Buechele from the backside, and he's sacked at the 32. Number 89, Evan Weaver there.
Weaver is a freshman who got a chance to come around the edge as the ball didn't come out on time. You see Buechele trying to find a little bit of extra time to extend the play, had no idea Weaver was there.
Just the 2nd sack of the season for that Bear defense. 3rd down coming up. 7 to go. Buechele slings it. Incomplete. Intended again for Oliver. And there's a flag down.
Contact number 92 to the leg of the quarterback. Okay.
And that's going to be a penalty against number 92, Marcus Manley, for a shot on Buechele.
The rule on the field is an incomplete pass. Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense number 92. Low hit to the quarterback. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
It's about protecting quarterbacks. We get more and more of that. This is a very late roll-up. A couple of steps, had a chance to avoid it. We have a Big 12 officiating crew on the field. Pac-12 replay group in the booth.
We'll keep an eye on that. And now Tyrone Swoopes, number 18, the 2nd half of that quarterbacking tandem in the ball game. Swoopes, a very powerful, dynamic runner.
We've got a 250-pound quarterback, tight end, and running back.
He scored the winning touchdown in that overtime win against Notre Dame, and he finds a nice crease over the left side of that offensive line down to the 7-yard line. Rubenzer making the stop.
Well, you got a heavy package. Look at all the beef. There is nobody out there under 250 pounds. 1.5 tons.
If you're small, don't bother showing up. That time it was Warren straight ahead. You know, Warren gets to the 3.
You'd figure you'd see one guy listed at 195 or 190. None of that.
They didn't qualify for that package.
Talk about big boy football.
4-yard gain, 1st and goal. Swoopes taking it out of the shotgun. Warren. Oh, touchdown, Texas.
Oh, my goodness.
They just rolled up their sleeves and played a little smash ball there, Rod.
He just pounded Vanderbilt.
All right, thanks a lot, Dave, here at California Memorial Stadium. Texas has just gone in for a touchdown to make it 7-6. We're looking at Chris Warren, the tailback, who scored a moment ago after Cal scored on its opening drive of the ball game. An extra point on its way from Trent Domain as Texas answers Cal's opening drive with an impressive opening drive of its own, now tying the game at 7 apiece. We're going to stay right here as Tyrone Swoopes came in that 18-wheeler package, Rod.
Oh, you want to get a sense of some physical football. Watch Chris Warren finish this run on Vanderbilt. Finds him in the hold, and how do you like my 252 pounds?
I think I heard somebody yell weight room down on the field.
You want to deal with this? That is an exclamation mark. Man. And that's what Cal's going to have to deal with defensively. When that package is on the field, you got a 250-pound quarterback, tight end, and running back.
There's over 3 tons of beef poundage on the field for Texas in that 18-wheeler package, as Coach Dykes there for Cal having a very spirited conversation with the officiating crew, obviously objecting to something. But for Warren right there, that's his 2nd rushing touchdown for the season, the 6th of his career. Just underway here in the first quarter. Each team has scored on its respective opening drive. 7th meeting all time between these two schools. Cal winning last year 45-44. This will come out to the 25-yard line. 1st down and 10. Here's a look at what you missed in the first minutes of the ball game.
Well, yeah, you got to show up if you want to catch this stuff on time. Stovall had a nice run. Webb comes back to Hansen, who makes a nice move. This is the opening drive. They were just rolling, and then what a perfectly thrown ball to Veazey for 6. Webb giving him a chance to make a nice catch on a corner route.
Webb back on the field, a grad transfer from Texas Tech. There's a look at his numbers on the opening drive, finding Veazey for that touchdown catch. Right now it's Muhammad in the backfield. The Bears a hybrid of that air raid offense. Pass complete to Chad Hansen, who came into the ball game as the nation's leading receiver with 28 catches and 350 yards.
Yeah, and they've been looking for someone to step up and help Hansen. Veazey has shown that tonight with that touchdown catch.
2nd and 7. Going to run it, and a very successful run by Muhammad out near first down, setting up a 3rd down and short. Picked up 6 on the play. Texas looking for its first 3-0 start under Charlie Strong in his 3rd year. Shane Buechele starting his 2nd, now 3rd consecutive game, a Texas record for a freshman. And that's going to be close. Muhammad might have gotten stoned. Looks like they're marking it short. Yet Jr. making the stop on the play for the Longhorns.
If you're Cal, are you feeling lucky? Rolling the dice?
Not much surge up front there, Ryan.
You know, awfully early to roll this dice. Awfully early. I would not do that here. Then maybe they'll try and pull him off.
They're going to call a timeout.
Yeah, it gives him a chance to argue about that spot, decide if he wants to challenge it. I don't think he will, but the call here is to kick the ball away.
Coach Dykes has been highly irritated here in the ball game. Back after this.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Dr. Pepper. It's a college football tradition. And Red Lobster.
Welcome back, everyone, to Berkeley, California. 4th down and short. They reviewed the spot a moment ago, and the call stands on the field.
Sonny Dykes doubling down here on 4th down. He already lost a challenge.
They're going to go for it and get just enough, apparently. Let's look at the spot. No, he came up short. They marked it short. Boyett and Wheeler there, and man, Texas starting with great field position.
Partner, from the very start, we said bad call, don't go for it on 4th down. And then Sonny Dykes rolled the dice and challenged the call, lost the challenge, so they got bad information to even challenge it. Now they can't challenge for the rest of the game, and then they doubled down and went for it on 4th down in their own 20, 30, 33-yard line. And that's risky. That's putting yourself behind the 8 ball, and now Texas is set up.
Wow. Working with a real short field from the 35.
This is a turnover. This is not a 4th.
Sure
that's
feels
a
like
turnover.
one.
Yeah.
And Coach Dykes still perplexed.
Well, they had plenty of time to look at this and think about it. Let's talk about just the first play when he lost the challenge.
They're reviewing this again, Ron.
Yeah.
Let's take one more look.
Now, if you're a Cal fan, you're hoping for some second effort where no whistle was blown. It's the ball. It's not his shoulder pad. Remember, it's where was the ball. And since he was ruled down, now you need indisputable video evidence, and the ball looks like it's back behind that marker.
Now, that line you see on the field is an approximation, not quite exact.
It's the ball, not the shoulder pad. And you can't even get enough video from my perspective on that to overturn that. That's the problem. You need indisputable video evidence.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. 1st down.
So, as the previous one stood, so does this one.
There we go!
And Texas going to take over 1st and 10. from the Cal 35.
Is it just me, or was it too much of a gamble? I mean, did you see that as a really risky deal? Not just one decision, but two.
Yeah, that early in the ball game, this early in the ball game, when your offense on the previous drive had moved the ball pretty well. Shane Buechele in at quarterback, the true freshman, starting his 3rd consecutive game. A school record. Hands it off inside to Foreman, and Foreman picks up a first down. Texas is going to play very fast.
Well, that opening drive, Buechele came in and got very comfortable. Short passes, had good rushing by his backs. You see his numbers there, 6 TDs, only 1 pick.
Hands it off again to Foreman. Buechele is the son of Shane Buechele. Pardon me, Steve Buechele, who is a professional baseball player, bench coach now with the Texas Rangers, former Stanford player. 2nd down coming up. These two teams amongst the leaders in the nation in plays or snaps per game and pace. 2nd and 8. Buechele going to pass into the end zone. Incomplete, intended for Gerard Hurd, the 3rd-string quarterback on this team.
You know, Jonesy, this pace, both these teams have been going at clips of like 20 seconds on the clock. So they're moving very fast. Shane Buechele is comfortable with it. He ran this kind of offense in high school. And job 1 for Texas coming in tonight was to get him comfortable in his first road game. And they seem to have done that.
Showing a lot of poise. Big 12 newcomer of the year for consecutive weeks. Tipped and almost intercepted. In a lot of traffic. It was intended for Foreman, and he couldn't get a hand on it, and Buechele took a pretty good hit.
Yeah, watch the end of this. It's a good hit, legit. 1 step, got the quarterback.
There's Deontay Wilson, number 95 for Cal, and now in comes Trent Domain, the place kicker.
That's a pretty good stop for the Cal defense. That's a sudden change situation, and not giving up a first down, not giving up 6.
That from a team that was shredded. They were porous last week in that loss against San Diego State. Domain, meanwhile, the LSU transfer, knocks it through from 38 yards out, and Texas taking a 10-7 lead.
I'm marking that down as 3 points off of a turnover because of Cal's decisions.
We'll be back with more from Berkeley right after this. Here at Memorial Stadium under the lights. 7th meeting all time between the Bears and the Longhorns. As Texas cashed in on the turnover a moment ago with a 38-yard field goal. This is Becker kicking off. And it'll come back up. But the big story developing right now is this. Shane Buechele, during the break, went into the Texas locker room, appeared to be a little bit shaken up. And Rod, we saw him take a couple of hits not that long ago.
Well, this is the hit that he got from Devontae Wilson, a 260-pounder who falls on his shoulder. You can see that. But Buechele's been hit a couple times tonight. In fact, the officials flagged Cal for a late hit, the opening drive, when someone hit him down low. So clearly there is some attempt to make the freshman know he's going to get knocked around, and right now he's in the locker room.
Cal with the football. They turned it over on downs last time. Going for it on 4th down. Back on 1st and 10. Incomplete for Hansen. Let's go back to Adnan in the studio. All right, Adnan. Boy, what a grab.
Fantastic.
2nd and 10. This is Trey Watson with his first carry of the ball game. Stopped up by Jason Hall. Ball came out, but was he down first? You can say that it was marked down, sets up a 3rd down. Gain of 3 on the play.
You know, Adnan mentioned that Ohio State-Oklahoma score. Quite relevant for Texas Longhorn fans and Big 12 fans as the Big 12 starts to look wide open.
Longhorns will get a break with a bye week next week. They hope to go into that bye week still undefeated at 3-0. And they're getting the meat of the Big 12 schedule. A 3rd and 7 right here, though. come with a little pressure. Flag down. Webb gets it out to Watson. Watson with a first down, but there's a flag down back at the 21-yard line. And this one might come back after the 20-yard gain by Trey Watson.
It looks like they got Aaron Cochran, who is in for Patrick McCarry.
Holding. Offense, number 75. 10-yard penalty. Replay third down.
He had a good grab of Ford for Texas.
Well, Cochran, has a little bit of a bad right knee, but he was healthier than McCarry, who had a bad ankle.
Take your pick, right? Cochran missed week 1 with that bad knee. Going to push this one back all the way inside the 20 to the 18.
Texas has struggled to put pressure on the quarterback. They prefer not to blitz. I don't think you'll see it here.
Davis Webb, the grad transfer from Texas Tech. Started off backing up Baker Mayfield there as a freshman. Got here in May and immediately took charge, but is hit as he tries to deliver the ball, and it's incomplete. It was Ford again that got there, and man, Webb took a serious blow.
Yeah, how about the pressure from Poona Ford? He's 5'11", 303 pounds, and just keeps working his way back to the quarterback. He's been their best defensive player up front and got a lot of pressure that time.
4th and long. In comes Dylan Klump. The punt averaging a little over 40 per game, and Texas sends Ja'Cory Warwick back right around midfield at the 46, so the Longhorns should get good field position after this. Warwick brought down immediately. And keep in mind, folks, the big story for the Longhorns, Buechele is still in the locker room. So we might see a little bit more of the 18-wheeler. Get ready. Back after this. You're looking at Tyrone Swoopes, who's going to come in at quarterback, and here's why. A couple of moments ago, Shane Buechele took this hit.
Yeah, big hit by Devontae Wilson, and you can see he was shaken afterwards. Didn't quite look like himself. Goes to the helmet, can't really jog off. And Jonesy, you see him walking off the field.
And they took his helmet subsequent to that and put it away. So it's Swoopes' football, and he hands it off to Warren. Warren looking for a little bit of a seam and a flag down on the play. Hey, Rod, got to ask you, how does that change things now offensively for Texas?
Well, keep in mind, they were...
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 51. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
With Shane Buechele at quarterback, they opened up with a touchdown drive. Rowe got a field goal later. They looked comfortable, and the passing attack has been good. Swoopes has primarily been part of the rushing attack. So now, can they find that balance with Swoopes? That's the immediate impact. But this offense is big enough and strong enough to run over a Cal defense that has struggled in the rush game.
See how they adjust, and a nice gain there by Warren. Q, what do you see down there?
Well, I see a Cal rush defense that has struggled this year. They're giving up 6.8 yards per carry. It's one of the worst run defense in the country. You talk to their defensive coordinator, Art Kaufman, comes down his second-level run fits, getting off of blocks, and tackling better in space. And right now, there's a size differential out there between the running backs of Texas and the quarterback and these Cal linebackers.
Yeah, that time, Q, they gashed him with the throw. John Burt with the reception, and Swoopes with a very authoritative-looking throw run.
And there were a lot of nervous Texas Longhorn fans in here, and they let out a big yell after that throw.
Certainly see a lot of orange, burnt orange in the stands here. Swoopes completes another pass at the 20, back to John Burt, the Olympic class hurdler.
You know, we
finish in the top 3 of the Big 12.
We've seen Shane Buechele from the 20 to the 20, and this inside the 20 becomes Swoopes' territory. That's been his role this season.
Warren gets the call again, keeps those legs churning, and man, does he move the pile out near a first down, maybe about a yard short as we go down to Q.
an update from Texas officials telling me that they've taken Shane Buechele inside to evaluate his chest. Further evaluation inside here. Chest, not a head injury, his chest.
And it Swoopes' team right now on the option. Boy, what a straight arm. Gets down to the 12, and he told Davison, you better talk to the hand because my feet aren't listening.
Well, we were down on the field before the game, standing next to him. That is a big man. I mean, he is 250 pounds plus, and when they say that he goes at 6'4", every bit of that, if not more.
1st and 10. Warren runs through a tackle, still on his feet. Touchdown, Texas. Evan Rambo met his match.
That is the second time tonight that Chris Warren has gashed a Cal defender. He got one on his first touchdown run, and watch the power. 250 pounds, can't hit him high. Got to get low, can't hang on. He just keeps dragging people into the end zone.
Look at the yards after initial contact. Enough to get to the end zone.
It's like Pop Warner football.
It looked like it. Looked like they were begging him to fall down. Didn't work. Under 3.5 to go in the first quarter, and Texas with another touchdown, leading by 10. So Tyrone Swoopes goes from being the understudy to being the #1 QB and leads his team down the field on a drive after Shane Buechele went back into the locker room, and no problems for the Longhorns. Well, folks, kick off your Week 2 NFL Sunday on ESPN. 10 a.m. Eastern, NFL Insider Sunday edition with all the injury news, fantasy updates, and early breaking stories. Then at 11, Sunday NFL Countdown. Berman, Dilfer, Woodson, Hasselbeck, and Moss taking you right to kickoff. Both shows streaming live on the app as well as watch ESPN. For Warren, meanwhile, that was his second rushing touchdown of the night. And boy, Rod, we see a little bit of a trend developing here with Texas's running game.
Yeah, you know, unless Cal finds a way to get more men to the point of attack, we're going to see a lot of guys being dragged.
From the goal line, Muhammad. And Muhammad pushed out of bounds, shy of the 35, back to the studio. All right, let's see how this Bear offense, pardon me, reacts. 1st and 10. Davis Wayne, they didn't quarterback. He was 72 times last week against San Diego State in that loss. And this is his primary target. Chad Hansen with a 1st down out to the 40-yard line. Got a good block on the edge by Granado.
Hey, Jonesy, we saw a lot of this. Quinn, don't you remember a lot of those screen passes against Notre Dame?
Yeah, Notre Dame did real well in the screen game. And the surprising thing, Rod, is they throw it on 1st down in this case. Does Cal, and sensing Texas pressure, it is an answer for pressure. Look for a lot of screens and draws on 1st down.
Webb serving, going through his progression. Wisely throws it away. Took a hit as well. Good pressure on him there from number 24, John Bonney.
Well, back to Q's point, he's right. Get the ball outside and allow some of these receivers, including the youngsters, they've got a couple young freshman receivers, to use their speed. And Texas really struggled against Notre Dame in that screen game, so we'll probably see more, as Q mentioned.
Hand it off to Nweri, and Nweri's still on his feet and picks up enough for the 1st down. An 11-yard gain, and boy, right as Jake Spavital, the offensive coordinator, wants to be a little bit more balanced on the offensive attack tonight.
Yeah, and Nweri from Texas, looking forward to this game tonight, had it circled.
Webb with time, sets up a great screen. Nowhere to go really for Nweri, but they are in the fringes now, or on the fringes of field goal range. Hill making the stop. 40-yard gain.
Nweri was offered by Cal and accepted, and was interested in Texas, but didn't get offered by Texas until after he'd accepted at Cal. And he said, yeah, I've circled this one last year and this year. Texas forever, but Texas revenge too.
The storylines have played tonight. Davis Webb, also a Texas native. Out of the backfield. Good catch, but better defense that time on Trey Watson. Nowhere to go.
Still another screen pass. From wide receiver screen to the running back screen out of the backfield. Slow down, get it outside the box, slow down that pressure inside. But remember, when Webb has a little time, he can get it down the field. We've seen that already with a touchdown pass to Veazey.
Loss of 2 on that last play. Chad Hansen has been his primary target most of the season. Trying to get some other guys involved, including Robertson and Stovall. A little pressure coming. Hansen, a flag down at the 20-yard line, or right around the 18. Deontay Davis in the neighborhood. That's the guy that he usually tries to dial up. Chad Hansen, number 6.
Holding defense, number 9. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Well, Jonesy, here's Hansen beating the press coverage off the line of scrimmage, leading the nation in receptions coming into the ball game. His 19 catches. A guy who transferred that nobody knew about coming out of high school.
Unbelievable. Went to Idaho State, transferred after his freshman year, sent his videotape, email blasted out to a ton of schools in his own words, including Pac-12 and Mountain West Conference schools, and Cal, the only one that had him come in. Webb into the end zone. And out of bounds, incomplete. Went right back to Jordan Veazey, who ran out of real estate.
It's the same route that he threw to Veazey for the touchdown in the opening drive. It's a corner route, just a little bit too much. And Texas is having trouble getting pressure on Webb when they don't bring a 5th rusher. And when that happens, Webb gets time. That's a problem for the Texas defense.
2nd and 10. One-on-one on the edge there. Nice move by Robertson. Got the first down. The ball came out. They're saying it's live, and it's coming back. Vaccaro. And he's brought down to the 45. Wow, what a turn of events. Just a couple yards shy of the end zone. And then Vaccaro comes back.
That's Kevin Vaccaro, the younger brother of Kenny Vaccaro, who starred at Texas and now plays in the NFL. A big hit and strip. He might have been down. He might have been down. That might come all the way back.
This play under review as we speak.
That's that right knee down, ball down, and then the strip. I think that's coming back.
Let's take one more look right there.
Well, you see the right knee. You see the right knee down. The ball's not out.
Anthony Wheeler, number
right there, right knee.
Wheeler, number 45, trying to rip it out.
Yeah. This is a better angle. You need indisputable video evidence.
He's down.
You got the right knee and you got the ball in there. That's pretty indisputable to me.
You could see the dejected look on Vaccaro's face.
Yeah.
As soon as he stopped, he had a clue.
Yeah, knee down, you got control, and then comes out later. That's going to give Cal a first down.
Yeah.
Get a chance to score.
Great catch and run by Demetrius Robertson out of Savannah, Georgia.
You know, he committed to Alabama 2 years ago.
Wow.
And then changed his commitment, reopened his recruiting, and waited until May of this year. Did not sign a letter of intent. Waited until May of this year to choose Cal over Georgia, Georgia Tech, and others.
And Stanford was in the running there for a while, too.
Yeah, he's a 5-star recruit.
Stanford and Cal trying to work Georgia a little bit.
After further review, the runner's right elbow was down. It'll be 1st and goal at the 3-yard line. Please reset the clock to 58 seconds. 5-8.
You know, partner, we had a shootout last year, 45-44. Cal with the win overtime, and this is shaping up like there are going to be a lot of points in this one.
Charlie Strong with a good feel for his team, though, coming into this game tonight. He admits it's going to be a big test for his freshman. He's had 14 debut in the first 2 games, a 16-yard catch, 1st and goal for the Bears.
That guy, 310 pounds.
Malik McMorris leading the way. Davis Webb trying to get to the edge and stopped up right around the line of scrimmage. Little or no gain on the play.
Okay, you've got a fullback out there who's 5'11", 310 pounds.
Right.
And he's been really good leading the way for you.
Right.
That's McMorris.
Right.
You got a guy, a quarterback, who's not a runner.
Preach.
Who's running to the edge.
Amen.
I don't think so. No, you get behind that big guy, give it to Nweri, you got yourself a point. You got your touchdown. You got 6.
I'm guessing those pants are XXL that Malik McMorris are wearing. That is a big dude, and this time they follow him almost. And Nweri brought down at the 1-yard line, setting up 3rd and goal. Haynes and Locke making the stop on the 1-yard gain.
And you know McMorris is saying, behind me, follow me, follow me. They can't even see you behind me. Follow me.
Malik McMorris is 5'11", 310, a walk-on who takes up a lot of space. 10th play of the drive. Touchdown Bears. They finally punch it home. Vic Nweri with a score.
The Texas native, Missouri City, living for this moment, knocks it out of the park. Chance to let folks back home know that he's doing all right here in Berkeley.
The extra point good. And it's a 3-point game as we go back to the studio in Adnan. Right, Adnan, that score capping a 10-play, 66-yard drive, using up 3:17 on the clock. A very high-scoring game, 17-14. Texas with the lead. And Nweri with the touchdown run a moment ago, and Shane Buechele is back onto the sidelines for the Texas Longhorns. The starting quarterback for Texas, taken out of the game on the previous series, appeared to be shaken up.
Got his helmet back. You know, his dad, Steve, we talked to him earlier this week, said he'd be watching the game tonight after the Rangers took care of their business this week. I'm sure the family members are checking and happy to see him with the helmet back on.
Interesting to see if it's going to be Swoopes or him. This is Boyd. And nowhere to go. Those guys on Cal's roster run pretty well, too. Here's what happened to Buechele back earlier in the first quarter.
Yeah, took a pretty big shot from Devontae Wilson, slams him to the turf there, came right off the field. That was the last we saw of him on the field. They put his helmet away, but now he's come back on the field. Will we see him again?
First 15 minutes in the books. We'll find out on the other side. And welcome back, everyone, to ESPN College Football Finale, presented by Geico, under the lights here at Memorial Stadium, Berkeley, California. And Texas leading by 3 as we get started here in the second quarter. Mark Jones up top along with Rod Gilmore and Quinn Kesnick down on the sidelines. And this is kind of looking like basketball with shoulder pads right now. High-scoring game. Foreman, the intended receiver, Swoopes in at quarterback for Texas. Let's talk about this, Rod. What could have been a very divisive and contentious situation was really diffused by head coach Charlie Strong earlier this year. Shane Buechele, who you saw a moment ago on the sidelines, is the starter. He won the job. Handoff here to Foreman, who picks up another first down. And despite the fact that Buechele won the starting job, Swoopes was very helpful in being a very key part of being the understudy.
Well, Charlie acknowledged that there's always a division in a team when the new coach comes in. You've got the young guys that coach recruited and the older guys recruited by other guys. And you have that problem unless the team comes together. And in my view, Swoopes and Shane made this thing work at Texas.
Handed off again, and this is Foreman breaking a couple of tackles and picks up about 3.
You know, and I've been a part of situations where you have a new coach come in you're talking about a coach who didn't recruit you, didn't sit in your living room and meet your parents, and so everyone is suspicious. But Swoopes and Shane got together and said, hey, it's all about winning, and they built a bond, and the rest of the team followed.
Really set the tone for their early season success. Swoopes going to throw it. Caught at the 23 by Foreman. So the 18-wheeler showing off his arm. Franklin Jr. beaten on the play by Foreman. And Texas going quick on the 34-yard gain. The officials talking things over on the field.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 2. Half the distance to goal from the end of the run, first down.
Well, they're going to tack on some more yardage on the face mask.
As Darius Allensworth, the corner on that side, they get with the face mask at the end of the play. But how about the throw from Swoopes, playing with a lot more confidence than he did last year throwing the football.
Well, the 18-wheeler package already in. And they hand it off to Foreman, and Foreman inside the 5. Down to the 3-yard line. Vanderbilt making the stop on the 6-yard gain.
I mean, it looks bad from up here. I can only imagine what Q is seeing down there, the way that they're running through Cal tacklers.
Handoff. Lunge, touchdown, Foreman. And he rocked that defense to sleep.
That is the 3rd time we've seen a 250-pound running back just drag Cal players into the end zone and run through tackles. Whether it's been Foreman or Chris Warren, it's been the same result. Cal defenders just bouncing off these big Texas running backs. You know what they say?
Tell me.
Hey.
I mean, that's pretty impressive with the size of those two Texas tailbacks.
Yeah.
The field is a touchdown. That plays under further review.
We're going to review that. But Foreman goes 249. Warren goes 252. Here's one more look at the play under review.
You think he's got clear eyes and a full heart trying to get into that end zone?
Because he can't lose.
All right. Check for need. There's a dive. Elbow. But you can't tell from that angle whether he's broken the plane. So remember, you need indisputable video evidence. Elbow down, but from that angle, you have no evidence that the ball did not break the plane.
Well, that was a great
After further review,
effort.
the ruling on the field is confirmed. Touchdown.
So it stands. And for Foreman, that's his 2nd rushing touchdown of the season, 7th of his career. The Longhorns lead by 9 in a real shootout here forming in Berkeley.
I'm just stunned at the physical nature with which these running backs are running through Cal's defense. They are dipping shoulder, throwing arms.
Charlie Strong's team has done a great job with their fitness and conditioning and in the weight room. Big boy football here.
Yeah, that's power, man.
Yeah.
Good night. That baby wants to sleep. Or a defender or two. Man.
Hey, folks, be on the lookout for Taco Bell student sections and passionate fans like these at games all season long, where Taco Bell will give fans a chance to join their school's student section at the college football playoff. Been kind of rowdy here tonight in Berkeley. From there in the front row all the way up to Tightwad Hill, high above the stadium. On the return, it's Alfani Muhammad. He makes it out to the 27-yard line. Well, today ESPN proud to support college football celebration of educators across the country through the Extra Yard for Teachers initiative created by the College Football Playoff Foundation.
And pushing you to be better and be great. It happened to me in elementary school, man.
On the jet sweep. Stovall brought down, you know, Mr. Hopkins, my American history teacher. I wrote my final paper on why Canada should become the 51st state. And I was really upset at him that he only gave me a B+ on the paper because I had it all laid out.
He wanted you to think a little more through it and push it a little further. Huh?
He gave me that excuse all the time. You've heard that too, huh?
We've been there.
Second down and 11. Pass complete out to the 32-yard line. Hansen with another grab, picks up 7.
I'm just a little worried about Cal right now because I think they need to take more time. I think they need to protect their defense. They need first downs. They need to run the ball a little bit. This defense is getting worn out. The offense must stay on the field, and slowing the pace would help them a little bit, I think, here.
3rd down and 4 here, partner. Empty formation with 5 receivers. Hansen wide to the bottom of your screen into the boundary. Play clock at 2. Webb had it tipped at the line of scrimmage, incomplete. He was looking at Hansen at the 40-yard line. Boyd Jr. got one of those hands up and knocked it down.
Yeah, and the problem with all this is you got a 3-and-out now. I mean, your defense has been struggling. You get a ball batted down. The defense hasn't rested. They got to come right back out. It's 24-14. You took no time. You couldn't even get to adjustments on the sideline. You didn't have enough time for that.
Second punt of the night for Dylan Klump. Corey Warwick back at his own 30-yard line. Klump with a high spiral. Warwick all the way back to the 18. Nice move beyond the 30. And out to the 36, an 18-yard return on a 50-yard punt. 10-point lead, and the 18-wheeler coming back out when we come back. Shane Buechele still on the sidelines after being shaken up earlier in the first quarter.
But he's got a helmet on now. That's an improvement.
They've given him his helmet back. He went back into the locker room twice to be checked out. 1st and 10 for the Longhorns from their own 36. And Tyrone Swoopes doing a good job of orchestrating this offense. A 4-yard gain for Warren as we go down to Quint.
The game changes for Cal's defense now with Swoopes in the ball game. They're still in a nickel, but they're rolling a safety down into the box, so single high safety. The field is kind of shrunken, I think, in the eyes of their defensive coordinator, Art Kaufman.
Swoopes going to throw it high and picked off on the tip. Wokocha off the hands of Colin Johnson and into the arms of Wokocha.
Yeah, high throw causes this pick. And as Q mentioned, you had more folks in the box. And so Texas trying to take advantage of it because they get the one-on-one coverage, but it's a poorly thrown ball. And now you've got tip throw, Cal with a turnover. They're in the plus territory, a chance to steal a possession and get back in the ball game being down 2 scores.
They take a little shot here, Ron, right after the turnover, you think?
Well, you know on first down that they tend to get single high safety coverage. So if you're thinking one-on-one with Hansen, this is the time to go for that.
Hansen split to the bottom of your screen there. The lone receiver in the 2-by-1.
Yeah, you see they got one deep safety far back.
They hand it off to number 5, Trey Watson. Watson with a nice gain of about 6.
But I'm not mad at them for running it.
Right.
I think when you can give your defense a break after what they've been through, that helps. But anytime you get single coverage, Webb's got to take advantage of it.
Trying to get to the edge and nowhere to go. That Texas defense runs extremely well. There's a flag down on the play as Edwin Freeman makes the stop on Watson. Johnny Strong has some dudes on defense this year, folks. A couple of consecutive top 10 recruiting classes bearing fruit this year early in the season.
There is no foul on the play. 3rd down.
So Jonesy, Texas defensively on 3rd down, they tend to try to keep the ball in front. They tend to drop 2 safeties back, so Webb has to be patient here unless he can find a way to streak a guy down the middle. It's going to be hard to get deep. Be patient and wait for something to come open underneath.
On 3rd and 7. Low snap for Webb, but he gets it off. Got a man, Hansen. Pushed out of bounds at the 5. 1st and goal, Bears.
So, Jonesy, they checked out of their 2-deep coverage late, brought pressure, and single coverage. A single safety, and you see Evans, Sherrod Evans, allowed his guy outside. No help, didn't keep him inside, and an easy throw by Webb.
Boy, Evans, one of those seniors. Just a handful of them on Texas's roster. Got beaten on that play. 1st and goal. Handoff and Wary. Stopped up short. About a yard of the end zone. It'll be 2nd and goal. Freeman making the stop. And Wary looked like he blew a tire. Had to put his shoe back on.
Well, they need him in there. He had 73 yards against Texas last year. Ran hard inside.
Straight ahead. Touchdown and Wary. And another one knocked out of the park. Five plays, 46 yards, and the Bears right back in it. Down by just a field goal now as both defenses have taken some big body blows. A 2nd rushing touchdown of the night for Nweri.
Cal showing a little power of their own, using their big tight end McMorris, and Weary in behind him, and we got ourselves a 3-point ball game.
There it goes.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Cadillac and Jiffy Lube. We do more than just oil changes, all in a jiffy.
You know, the Wooden Duck, a local wood shop here in Berkeley, able to salvage wood from the 2012 renovation of Cal Memorial Stadium. And there's been a market for wood from local bars and establishments, as Golden Bear fans eager to have a piece of the stadium live in their homes. So you never know if you're eating on a coffee table here in the Berkeley area, whether it was once a seat in section 200 here, I guess. On the return, Chris Boyd. And Boyd brought down at the 21. What about that wood, Q?
Yeah, there was some talk about shipping it to Mexico to make it cattle fences, but they make some beautiful stuff at the Wooden Duck. Tabletops, benches. This is a little scrap piece. This wood is from the 1920s. Obviously, it was farmed in Oregon, and I actually got this piece for you, Rod, as a souvenir.
Really?
Of Memorial Stadium. You can take it home. You see the blue paint,
Yeah.
and it'll bring back memories back from 1982.
I got to tell you, if they make some Rose Bowl trophies out of those things,
Okay.
using the 1959 benches,
And look
you
at
might be able
Tightwad.
to sell that.
Yeah, look at Tightwad Phil up there, up on the hill. He's doing his own woodwork there, making his own table and furniture as Buechele comes back into the ball game for Texas. As we get our first 1982 reference of the Cal-Stanford game that my partner was involved in.
Now.
Let's not mention trombones or tuba
trying
players.
to be complimentary about the woodworking from the '59 season, that they could use that to make furniture out of, and they could get a lot of money for it since that was the last time Cal was in a Rose Bowl.
Right, January 1st, 59. A lot of great history around here. Or not so great, depending on your perspective. Johnson making the catch, a gain of 7.
Like Shane looks okay. He's back in the ball game and threw a bullet right there. Got those clear eyes.
Yep. Clear eyes, full heart, can't lose. Right now, Texas leading by 3. Shane Buechele, the son of Steve Buechele, the former Major League Baseball player, with another completion here. This one to Colin Johnson. Buechele was shaken up in the first quarter. Missed a couple of series.
Well, and Steve told us earlier this week that Shane was a really good baseball player and could have excelled at baseball, but Texas being a hotbed of football, he gravitated towards that and got better and better, and now he's a quarterback at UT.
He carries himself like a young professional. On the handoff, that's Foreman. And Foreman picking up 5 for the first down. Vanderbilt making the stop on the play.
You were talking about the relationship between Swoopes and Shane Buechele. Having known his dad and been a teammate with him at Stanford, I can tell you this. You can be drawn to guys who are confident and humble and fun to be around, no matter what kind of success they have.
And a play action, Buechele wisely throws it away, and a flag on the play. Not sure that he was outside the tackles. The ball definitely going beyond the line of scrimmage.
So his dad, a teammate of mine at Stanford, was the 9th pick in the baseball draft, a first-round pick.
There is no foul on the play for intentional grounding or ineligible downfield. The quarterback was outside the pocket and he legally grounded the ball out of bounds. Second down.
And when Steve showed up on campus, he was a nice, humble, easy to get along with guy that you were drawn to. You wanted to be around him. And I see the same thing with Shane and his relationship with Swoopes and others. They're drawn to him. And so whatever division could have been on this team hasn't materialized.
Well handled by both those players, Buechele and Swoopes, as well as head coach Charlie Strong, who told us earlier this week, we have to move this program forward. We have enough talent to win now, and that's part of the talent. Deontay Foreman, when you look at the big picture of Texas, certainly with the national championships, they've got blue blood lineage in them. And a win today against Cal, they'd be 3-0 for the first time in a long time. Around the end and a first down by Deontay Foreman.
Well, more than just 3-0. With what's going on between Ohio State and Oklahoma, Ohio State way out in front on that one, Texas may become the team in the Big 12. Who's your leader in the Big 12? TCU has a loss. Oklahoma likely to have 2. Maybe Texas is your team.
Led by the freshman Buechele, taking a shot up top. Touchdown! What a grab, Warwick! He's back.
Nothing but a go route done beautifully by Warwick. 6'2", 202, great speed, runs by the secondary, but you don't get that unless on the other end you get great protection. They took care of Buechele. He takes a hit, but tough enough to hang in there and deliver a ball to give Warwick a chance to run it down. What a great throw. What toughness to hang in there, huh?
Sure did. A career-long reception for Warwick and his second touchdown catch of the season. Texas up by 10 again.
Knocked out of the game in the first quarter, and Buechele comes back and steers another big hit right down and says, I'm not flinching.
Pop out there pretty proud right now. And at the other end, Warwick with the grab. Shane says, Coach, I'm good to spin it. Hey folks, kick off your Week 2 NFL Sunday with us on ESPN, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. NFL Insider Sunday edition, injury news and all the updates. Then at 11, the new Sunday NFL Countdown. Berman, Dilfer, Woodson, Hasselbeck, Moss, taking it right up to kickoff. Also streaming live on the ESPN app, as well as watch ESPN. A high-scoring affair here in Berkeley, California. There's a lot of tie-dye T-shirts and a lot of spirit here in the stands. This is Muhammad all the way out to the 43-yard line. Adnan, you look good in one of these tie-dyes out here in Berkeley. All right, Adnan, bad news there for the Gators. First down and 10 meanwhile. Davis Webb in at quarterback. First and 10, they're going to run it. Put a crease over the left side of that offensive line. Muhammad with the run, a 4-yard gain. Boyett making the stop.
Webb is 12 of 18 for $169, and he can get hotter. Only 18 throws so far in this first half. Remember, he chucked it 72 times last week.
He needed an ice pack on that shoulder, and we have a Texas player shaken up down there on the field. That's Devontae Davis out of Miami, Florida, the starting cornerback. 6'2" sophomore. And the athletic training staff taking a close look at him. Sophomore makes him part of Charlie Strong's recruits.
Well, and he's part of that new wave of big corners that Charlie Strong has recruited the last couple of years. They've moved away from the 5'9", 5'10" corners. I guess I couldn't play for them. and they've gone to the 6'2", 6'3" guys that they want to have out there. Big corners now at Texas.
Well, Charlie Strong has had a couple of top 10 recruiting classes in the last 2 years. You look at this play one more time at the top of your screen. There's Davis going down, and nice to see him come off the field under his own power. Back to Charlie Strong. You look at the...
Yeah, he's got a knee that gets him in the helmet, gets fallen on by a couple guys, including one of his own teammates at the lower extremity, so he got it everywhere that time.
Charlie Strong, a fantastic ace recruiter. He's a closer, folks. You look at the Gators national championships back-to-back under Urban Meyer. That guy right there, Charlie Strong, largely responsible for procuring a lot of the talent that made its way to Gainesville. Don't fool yourself. That's a fact. 2nd and 6. Ed hands it off again. Nowhere going up the middle as Malik Jefferson, a 6'3" sophomore. No gain on that play.
Cal has typically looked for Hansen on 3rd down. They've gotten help from some other guys tonight, but Hansen 5 for 98 yards, clutch catches on 3rd down.
Well, we touched on his story a little bit earlier. The Idaho State transfer. Blasted out email of his videotape, his highlight tape. Cal finally gave him an opportunity, but they looked the other way. The pass complete for the 1st down to Stovall.
That's one of the other guys stepping up. Melquise Stovall, 5'9", freshman, very athletic. He's got a little help from Robertson on the other side as well tonight.
1st down and 10 from the 45. 6:10 to go in a very high-scoring 1st half. Webb to pass again. This one incomplete. You know, going back to Chad Hansen, number 6. Talked about him transferring when the coaching staff saw him the first practice. Was like, hey, is this some kind of joke? Is this for real? And Hansen won a lot of respect last year as a walk-on, and then was subsequently put on scholarship.
Just how does a guy go under the radar in this day and age with the internet and all the recruiting services?
Really a great story when you look back on it, as Muhammad gains a yard on the play, but Hansen comes back into the ball game, entered the game tonight as the nation's leading receiver with 28 catches and 350 yards. Wanted to play close to home, somewhere on the West Coast. San Diego State, one of the teams that passed on him.
He may get a shot here with this defensive package you're showing. He may get a shot deep.
He put up some great numbers last week against the Aztecs.
Webb sees that they're showing a single high safety. They don't seem to be backing out of it. He likes the matchup.
They just snap it in time. The little receiver screen to the other side, and a 1st down to number 19, Brandon Singleton, with his 1st reception of the night. So other guys, Rod, stepping up for the Bears.
And they checked to the screen. They saw the man coverage, and they blocked it off. A little tunnel screen.
16-yard gain. That's what Spavital, the offensive coordinator, wanted to see more out of Davis Webb this week. And now he goes deep into the end zone. Hansen, incomplete. Somebody lost a shoe on the play. And Sherrod Evans that time not victimized as he was earlier. Hansen will come out of the game.
Well, and normally Webb puts the ball up and really gives you a chance to get there. That one was a little bit overthrown. Might have had something to do with losing that shoe for Hansen, but he surprises you how fast he is with about 4.5, 4.45 speed. Guy who goes at about 6'3".
2nd down and 10. He may not be a 5-star recruit, but Hansen has run by a lot of guys that were. On 2nd and 10. Right downfield, wide open. Room service. Touchdown. Saval. Saval was wide open, Rod Gilmore.
Yeah, busted coverage. They just ran a couple of in routes and then a little bit of a wheel to the outside and total confusion on the back end for Texas. Got to go with the wheel. Can't leave them alone. Someone has to go with the wheel.
Davis Webb with his second touchdown pass of the night. And the Bears back in it. Down by a field goal with just under 5 minutes to go.
So, Jonesy, here's your miscommunication right here with these corners. Here's Stovall. He comes to the outside, and you have to communicate how you deal with this. It's a wheel route, so you either banjo it, you let each other say, I take outside, you take inside, because they're playing man, or they completely blow it, and they blew that one.
Both guys had their palms skyward, knowing something was on and wrong, Q.
Yeah, Holton Hill has been in the doghouse. 5 for Texas, the corner. Did not play last week at all against UTEP. He was in the game right there because of the injury earlier on the series to the other corner. But that is the second touchdown today where Texas secondary has looked at each other, had not been on the same page, and it hasn't been a pretty sight when they've gotten back to defensive coordinator Vance Bedford on the sideline.
Well, Q, I think the formations have something to do with that. I mean, they've seen empty, they've seen some trade going on out there, and then you see these wheel routes where guys release outside, and you count your coverage from, you know, the outside in. I got number 1, the outside guy, I got number 2, but if you aren't communicating, you mix that up. I think the formations and some of the releases are affecting these guys on the back end for Texas a bit.
8 plays, 58 yards, just under 3 minutes eclipsed on the clock. And Davis Webb, the Texas Tech grad transfer, doing some work here tonight in Berkeley. Got on campus here in May and immediately garnered the respect of the team, was voted team captain after just 3 weeks on campus. 222 yards passing already. On the return, this is Chris Boyd for the Longhorns. Boyd tackled at the 27-yard line. A very turbulent night for the true freshman, Shane Buechele.
Yeah, well, he's hanging in there. He starts off, gets a big hit from Wilson. A little shaken by it, was knocked out early, comes back, takes another big hit, but hangs in there to throw a touchdown pass. You talk about a guy who's beloved by his team. He draws guys together. A little kiss on the back of the neck for that.
Hey, little team bonding in the heat of battle.
Yeah, it reminds me of Matt Saracen, Friday Night Lights. Wearing that number 7, living the Texas life.
Hey, got to be ready to come in and go. Kind of a Booby Miles guy myself.
Oh,
right?
you're a Booby. I'm Matty, man. I'm all about Matty.
Texas on a scoring binge here in the first half. Buechele hands it off to Chris Warren, who's putting up some nice numbers here tonight. 31 points, the most they've scored in the first half going back to 2012. No lack of offense tonight.
No, they're still gashing them on the ground.
Longhorns have scored on 5 of 6 possessions tonight. Swoopes giving way to Buechele on the last couple of series. 2nd and 1. First down again for Chris Warren, picking up 4. Rod, I'm not sure that the Bears can stop them when they run.
You think? You know, these big backs, you see what they've done. Foreman, Warren, and Swoopes have all run the ball well. 3 touchdowns among them.
4 minutes to go in the first half. Pump faked a couple of times and had to throw it out of bounds. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Smart. Little Joe Cool there. Throw it away and come back for the next play.
A lot of poise for the true freshman.
Texas already 147 yards on the ground in the first half.
Sterling Gilbert, the offensive coordinator. Gilbert was a former offensive coordinator at Tulsa. Actually tried to recruit Buechele when he was at Tulsa. A motion and a penalty, and it's funny how Gilbert said that Buechele big-timed him when he was in high school and he was at a lower level school.
False start. Offense. Number 58. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Oh, I mean, Sterling had a lot of nerve.
Yeah.
I mean, he'd already been offered at Texas, and he's going to come in and like, you're going to choose Tulsa?
Yeah, what about that?
He should expect to get big time with that.
Yeah, and weeks later, yeah, Gilbert was at Texas.
Hey, he left Tulsa for Texas, too.
Yeah. Funny how that worked, huh? Second and 15. There's a look at the offensive coordinator for the Longhorns. Pass complete to Warwick, who already has a touchdown reception tonight. Gain of about 5 on the play. Third down, about 10 coming up.
Is this about what you expected? 59 first half points?
High scoring, yes, Rod, but not this many points. Blitz, sack, and Buechele rocked at the 32.
Yeah, he did not pick it up. Vanderbilt came from the edge, and it looked like Buechele looked right at it. Looked like he could see him. He checked, but didn't account for him. No blocker picked up. They did not see the blitz. He didn't expect him to come, but he was looking right at it. And that's another shot that Buechele takes in that shoulder chest area. Remember, first quarter, he took a big hit there and left the game for a while.
We need to protect him and keep him upright. This is Texas's first punt of the night. Michael Dixon, the Australian punter. 6th nationally in net punting, going from his own 22. And they're going to blow it dead. There's a flag down.
Delay of game. Kicking team. A 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Well, Dixon, an Australian punter. It seems to really be the rage right now in college football. Australian punters have done very well.
They seem to be everywhere.
8 of his 11 punts this year have been from more than 50 yards. He's averaging almost 53. They came after him that time, but he got off a high one at the 28. And Bug Rivera going to be ruled down after the 39-yard punt. Let's go back to Adnan in the studio.
W halftime report. Plenty to get to, including CFB in 3. Louisville, an absolute thrashing over Florida State. Plus, what happened to Iowa? Also, the catch of the year. I am not overestimating how great that catch was. Also, Joey Galloway has a new #1 team in college football. You may be surprised by his answer. He and Danny Cannell coming up at the half. We'll see you shortly. Jonesy?
I know who it is. I know who my #1 is now. Certain team that walloped Florida State today.
Very impressive. Nice move in the backfield there, out of the backfield. And Stova.
I mean, what Louisville did to Florida State today, that is worthy of being put at the top of the polls next
How
week.
far up do you move them, Rod?
I'm moving them to #1.
Wow, #1.
I'm moving them to #1. I mean, you can make an argument for Alabama, but I'm impressed.
Webb up top into traffic and caught and intercepted at the 36-yard line by Sherrod Evans. And now they're going to say it's incomplete.
Yeah, it didn't look like he had a foot in bounds.
They ran to the spot where he caught it initially.
Check out the feet. Catch. Does a foot come in? No, he's on the
he's
white.
out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, good job getting together and waving that off.
It'll be 3rd down and 8. Under 2 minutes to go. Chad Hansen split to the bottom of your screen to the wide side of the field. Webb backside pressure and sacked at the 18-yard line by Malcolm Roach. And the defense gets off the field. A loss of 11 on the sack.
You know, Jonesy, they wanted to run the wheel route again like they did to Stovall for the touchdown, but too much pressure. They were waiting for Rivera to come out the other side of that on that wheel route, but just too much pressure for Webb to be able to hang in there. Cochran was the guy who got beat on that left side.
Well, both defenses respectively get off the field with some key stops on third down, which we haven't seen a lot of tonight, especially, you know, Texas has scored on 5 of its 7 possessions tonight.
You know what the difference is in this ballgame? That first quarter decision by Sonny Dykes to go for it in his own territory around the 30-yard line would set Texas up for a field goal.
The Longhorns were able to capitalize.
Yeah, they had a 4th and short instead of punting it. They went for it, even after a failed challenge told them they didn't have it.
Keep an eye on Brandon Jones, number 19 for Texas. He's got a blocked punt on the season, almost 2. And he gets a 3rd. He got his 3rd, and Brandon Jones comes calling again.
You saw that one as they lined up.
And Charlie Strong's staff doing a job on special teams again.
Yeah, he's on the left side. He gets completely free. No one touches him, and he just swallows that football. He actually had to slow down because he was getting too close to the kicker and might have missed it.
He's one of the top 5-star recruits in the country a season ago. Doesn't see a lot of time, Rod, at his DB spot, but man, another big play. His 2nd blocked punt this year.
Oh, he was in there so fast. He took that off the foot. He literally had to slow down because he was getting too far where the punter was.
Texas gets the safety, and they'll get the ball back here after the kick. Brandon Jones, another one of those talented players out of Texas.
You must be sound in the kicking game.
Boy, that's another key play for the Longhorns. Let's go downstairs to Q.
Jonesy, that series, Roach, the freshman with the sack, Jones, the freshman with the block kick. More youth coming to the surface for the Longhorns.
Yeah, 14 freshmen made their debut in the first 2 weeks of the season. That was one of the concerns for Texas coming into the ball game, but they've shown some pretty good poise here from the 20. Duvernay on the return. And Duvernay all the way out to the 40. And the Longhorns will have decent starting field possession with 1:32 to go. And Cal has been unable to stop Foreman and Warren out of the backfield running the ball.
That combination has just been devastating. Get out of my way, says Warren, and then I will drag you into the end zone if you don't get out of my way. And not to be outdone, how about a little lunge by Foreman? Yeah. Those backs, both of them 250 pounds, have been a big problem for the Cal defense tonight.
I'll tell you what, Foreman and Warren should start charging fair as many times as they've carried those Cal defenders.
What was that that move that was it Foreman with the "I'm rocking you to sleep after I run you over"?
Yeah, singing them a lullaby. 1:32 to go. It's a 5-point advantage for the Longhorns. They've got a couple of timeouts remaining. See if they can get into field goal range for Trent Domain, or maybe a little bit more. Buechele taking a shot and picked off in the secondary by Rubenzer. And he's got an alley. All the way down inside the 30. What a change. What a swing.
Well, Rubenzer covered a lot of ground. The former quarterback turned safety was playing center field and just went on the dead run over there to make the pick. Now there's a little bit of a grab and a hold right there by Allensworth. No matter, Rubenzer is there to make the play, and Cal has a chance now to wipe out this lead.
Wow. Here we go. Webb hands it off. Nowhere to go for Anawari. Keep an eye on the clock. 1:10 to go. Cal with 2 timeouts remaining. Rubens are there, getting dapped up by his teammates, or at least in field goal range. Webb gonna go into the end zone. Hansen got it. Touchdown Bears.
How did he not get offered multiple scholarships out of high school? Single coverage, just beat Evans to the corner. Wide open, perfectly thrown ball by Davis Webb.
Hansen with another touchdown. 4th touchdown this season.
Anytime Cal has seen the man-to-man coverage on the outside, they've looked to Hansen. But Hansen couldn't get it without first Rubenser making his play. Buechele hangs this up a bit. Look at all the ground Rubenser covers. And then the big return set this up. Webb gives his receiver Hansen a chance, gives it a lot of air. And what about horns down, huh?
Oh, horns down.
Horns down.
Ooh, Chad Hansen working that Texas secondary like a part-time job right now, folks. 6 catches for 121 yards and having a little fun with it right now.
Oh, that's bad enough. You go, you do it, then you come back and say, hey, you see what I did? I went out there, and you know how they put the horns up? I turned the horns down. You know what I'm saying? You get it?
Oh, boy.
I think once you do it once, you don't have to explain it. I think everybody gets it, right?
His teammates are on to him. So are about 6,000 Texas fans who made the trip from Austin to watch this game tonight. With a squib kick down to the 30-yard line. You know, we talked about it in our production meeting this morning, Rod. You said it, man. This was going to be like basketball with shoulder pads. Look at the score here.
Yeah, and, you know, like any freshman in basketball, when you're a freshman football player and quarterback on the road, is different from being at home. And it's been a little bit of a rough night, but Shane Buechele has looked good after being knocked around early. He missed much of the first half with a shot to the chest. Came back to throw a touchdown pass. You just saw that pick. So not as easy as being at home, but certainly hanging in there with 50 seconds to go in this first half.
They don't sleep on these last 50 seconds either. This is the second time that Cal has led in the ball game since they were up 7-0. Buechele right back at you, taking a shot, and incomplete down the sideline, intended for one of his top targets, John Burt.
I love it. No fear. You throw a pick, you come right back, you lay it out there again.
After the play was over with, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense number 95. That's 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic first down. That's number 95's first unsportsmanlike conduct foul.
Coach Dykes having a word with Devontae Wilson, the perpetrator there. That moves the ball near midfield out to the 46 with 43 seconds to go. Trent Domain with range right around 47 to 50 yards. Slides in safely. Let's see where they spot it. Like he slid before the first down marker, but they're going to give him a first down.
What did Charlie Strong tell you this week? That he feels comfortable with like a 47-yard field goal attempt or in?
Between 47, maybe out
Texas
to
takes
50.
second time out of the half. Please set the clock to 30 seconds. 3-0.
Trent Domain, the LSU grad transfer, which has been a little bit of a trend in college football. And he and his girlfriend actually were back at LSU last spring, and she was actually the one that was looking through some of the internet searches and looking at some of the scholarship situations on the respective teams across the landscape, and said to her boyfriend Trent, hey, you know, Texas needs a place kicker. Austin ain't a bad place.
Wow.
Sometimes scouting comes down to a family deal, you know?
Hiring those researchers wherever you can find them.
2nd and 2 coming up as Buechele slid in before that first down. Time for the Horns to work with. Got to get to about the 30 for field goal range for Domain. Never know what you're going to see. Here, the Pac-12 after dark. As Foreman gets the first down as we approach, what, 9:34, 12:34 on the East Coast.
Got to go fast. Clock stops at the first down, but it'll start again.
They lost some time there, Ryan.
Yeah. You know, you still have the one timeout, and you want to be able to use that to get your field goal team on the field.
The clock never stopped on the first down signal. Please set the clock to 23 seconds and start it on my signal. 23 seconds and start it on my signal.
The referee, Mike DeFee, and the discontent from Coach Dykes.
Well, you can clock it now if you are Buechele, and once that clock's up, just clock it, and then you have plenty of time to run a play.
Buechele looking to pass. Incomplete at the 35, actually dropped in and out of the hands of the third-string quarterback, Gerard Hurd, who had a big game, a school record 527 total yards last year in this game against Cal.
You know, most of Buechele's throws tend to be deep, short, or to the outside. Cal plays for that. Do you feel confident enough to take the chance to throw one over the middle here? Because that's where the opening will be.
Low snap, and looks like we had a timeout called by Cal prior to the snap.
California takes his second time out of the half.
So they've got one remaining.
30 seconds in duration.
8 seconds to go. 68 points on the board already, folks. Kick off your week 2 NFL Sunday on ESPN 10 a.m. It's NFL Insider Sunday edition with all the injury news, fantasy updates, breaking stories. Then at 11, the new Sunday NFL Countdown. Berman, Dilfer, Woodson, Hasselbeck, Randy Moss taking you to kickoff, streaming live on the ESPN app and also on Watch ESPN.
Talk about a first half. 68 points, and Texas is about to run their 51st play of the first half, and Cal has run 44. We're going to get 2 games out of tonight.
You know, I'm glad that we have that espresso machine in our production truck, because, you know, sometimes the body stays on East Coast time. I'll take a double shot. Stay with us here. Pac-12 after dark. Buechele incomplete. Broken up nicely at the 35-yard line by the middle linebacker, Raymond Davison.
Good play here getting this out because there was a spot open, but a real good play. Now you still have time. You got a timeout, but you got to do this quickly. You can get yourself 7, 8 yards, get a timeout, and try that field goal.
You're going to have to be very economical with their time here.
I would take the shot at a short pass instead of a deep one.
That's what they do. Complete to
down.
Oliver, gets down with 2 seconds to go. They're going to stop it. Gain of 7 on the play. They're going to spot it at the 36-yard line, so that makes it a 53 from there. 53-yarder. His career long is just 43.
You see that Charlie Strong is stretching his kicker a little bit here beyond his range.
Q?
Yeah, 43 is his long at Texas. He hit a 45-yarder when he was a member of the LSU team back in 2015. In terms of having kicks blocked, he had a PAT blocked in week 1 against Notre Dame. That was a woefully low trajectory kick. So that's something to keep your eye on here, Mark.
They tend to want to drive the ball on these long field goals. from 53 yards out.
Well, you already called one block tonight. You want to go for the second one?
Jones isn't on the field. And remember, they have Demetrius Robertson there at the back of the end zone. We've seen guys run him back before. And it's wide to the right. It looked like he actually had enough leg on it. So surprisingly, after trailing for most of the first half, the Bears will go into the locker room with a 2-point lead. It was long enough, but missed it by inches. What a first half. Texas down by 2 as we go back to the studio for the BMW halftime report. And across the Bay Bridge, no traffic at this time of night, of course.
Love that Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah, you got to be on that speed pass lane, especially in this game.
And the challenge was what would happen tonight on the road. Well, he took a shot early on, and that kind of knocked him out of the ball game. But he came back real tough and threw a touchdown pass to Warwick. Then later in the first half, Rubinson picks one off that gets Cal going. And look at Buechele get in and make the tackle on that pick. So even though it hasn't been a perfect first half, his numbers have been by and large pretty good, only 9 of 19. But again, he's been hit a few times, so not as easy as he's been at home.
Meanwhile, Chad Hansen has been everything that he was hyped up to be coming into the ball game as the nation's leading receiver, Rod.
Yeah, you know, he had a little help from Staval, but 10 targets, 121 yards and a pick. You're talking about a guy who, coming out of high school, people did not pay attention to.
We're going to come out to the 25-yard line, first down and 10 for Texas. We did see a little bit of Tyrone Swoopes after Buechele was shaken up and missed a few series. Swoopes actually led them into the end zone.
Well, yeah, you're right. He played well, particularly he ran it pretty well. Had one throw that was a little high that cost them a pick. And there's more in the passing game when Buechele is in there. And that's why you see him back. This is their routine. They've got Buechele to use between the 20s and then Swoopes once they're in the red zone.
On the 25, first down and 10. Underway in the third quarter, and a completion to Jake Oliver. And Oliver has a first down, a pickup of 10 yards on the play. Oliver, the 6'3" junior out of Dallas, a guy that Coach Strong calls one of his clutch players. That receiver screen broken up and almost intercepted on the carom, intended for John Burt. Time now for the Northwestern Mutual planning for success. Second half keys of the game. Ron.
Well, yeah, Texas has given up 9 plays in the passing game over 15 yards. That's a problem. Warren and Foreman haven't been stopped yet, and they have to make sure they get to Webb with their pass defense, a little tackle.
There's Warren. Warren with a little gain on the plate. A nice first half. Vanderbilt making the stop. What about 2 on the play? Looney also there. Looney kind of their bell cow defensively. They're going to need a little bit more out of him and the guys up front. 3rd and 8.
A little confusion on the back end for Cal. There's 2 safeties, couldn't figure out who was supposed to be up and who was supposed to be back. Right now they're showing one deep safety.
Handoff to Warren, and he picks up the first down. Breaks a couple of tackles all the way down to the 41-yard line. Quint talked earlier about run fits, not much of it there.
Just a power play using their tight end. Blue at number 42 leading through, and those big guys coming through, hard to tackle.
To the play and across the 40, it's Chris Warren again. Warren was the team's leading rusher coming into the ball game with 141 total yards, and adding to that total is now Tyrone Swoopes comes into the ball game for the Longhorns.
A lot of beef, a lot of Texas on the hoof here.
On 2nd and 7.
You got a 250-pound tight end, quarterback, and running back.
Swoopes going to take it around the edge. Puts his hat down, moves the pile to the 34. Got about 6, leaving a 3rd and short. Davison making the stop for the Bears.
So Quint and I were on the field before the ball game along with you and looking at the Cal linebackers. They are small compared to Swoopes and the Texas running backs.
3rd down and 1. Warren gets the first down easily and then some. And when you say quote unquote small against an 18-wheeler package like this, I mean, that's over 3 tons, 1.6 tons.
Little guys need not apply. You see nobody under 250 pounds out there. You'd think you'd find one guy who weighs 190 or 195, but no.
Buechele back in the ball game. He hands it off to Foreman. That's Foreman's first carry of the second half. He gets 3 on the play. And sometimes they have that saying in Texas that guys all hat, no cattle. Not applicable here when you look at the size of
all beef.
That 18-wheeler package.
All beef, buddy. All beef.
Got hat and the cattle to prove it. 2nd and 7. Around the edge, it's Foreman for the first down. Lots of room, but a flag down on the play. Foreman down at the 8-yard line. This might come back. Flag down at the 26.
I think it was Patrick Veher who jumped out there, number 77, and hooked the defensive end.
Holding. Offense. Number 56. 10-yard penalty. Replay 2nd down.
It was actually Shackelford, the freshman center, who's been fantastic for Texas up front.
Hey, Rod, we talk about size. Look at our official, Mike DeFee. He kind of swole. He kind of, look at those guns on him.
He's been in the weight.
He's
throwing some iron around.
Might have his own 18-wheeler package. 2nd and 17. Little receiver screen to Ja'Cory Warwick. Warwick tackled at the 34 by Kahari Vanderbilt.
You know, this offense is very effective, not complicated. Screen passes, power inside, and when you start to creep up, Burt or someone runs deep behind you, and you throw it up to the outside to him.
On 3rd down, got to get to the 21-yard line. Into the eyes of the true freshman, Shane Buechele. To pass, and now takes off. And stopped short of the 33. On the fringes of field goal range for Trent Domain, who we saw had enough leg rod from 53, although he missed at the end of the half.
It was just off to the right side, I believe. And Charlie Strong said he felt pretty good about up to 47, getting closer to 50.
This one's going to come from about 49. That's a career long of 43. Trent Domain, the LSU transfer, pushes it to the right. No good. And he's 0 for 2 on the night. Actually, he's 1 for 3 tonight. And onto the field, Davis Webb, ready to go back to work when we return. Well, Davis Webb, Rod, threw it 72 times last week, and he's found a lot of good targets downfield here tonight.
He's dropped some bombs on that Texas secondary. He started off early with Veazey on a corner route to start the scoring. Comes back on a wheel route, gets Stovall, and it wouldn't be a night if he didn't find the man, Hansen, in the right corner of the end zone. He has the ability to drop that deep ball and give his receivers a chance to make big plays.
The first half for Webb, 16 of 25 with 3 touchdowns. Much more even performance than last week when he had 3 picks, including a pick 6. Hands it off here to Enweri. 6-yard gain as we go down to Q.
Charlie Strong spent the majority of halftime working on pass defense. He said fundamentals, communication, and just basic execution really upset at his the back end, the secondary play.
Davis Webb fires again, incomplete to Hansen. No flag on the play. Good coverage in the secondary. Q.
Deontay Davis, their corner, will not return. And to that regard, this Texas defense, you look at them, Rod, they're kind of lacking that star corner, that lockdown guy that can put on an island and kind of change the numbers defensively. That and an edge pass rusher, and this would be a good unit, but they're lacking in those departments.
Agreed. I think they've been confused too much. They had opportunities to make plays, but fundamentals, letting guy run by you and not talking to each other.
3rd and 4. Handoff. And a first down carry by Vic Inwere, the Missouri City, Texas native, hyped and motivated highly to take on the Horns tonight. Gain 7.
Q, I think they have the biggest trouble in the secondary when they get the trips formation on early downs, and they've been so preoccupied with screen passes.
There's a receiver screen to Hansen. Out to the 48.
Yeah, and I think Texas and Vance Bedford's been taken out of this game a little. They love to pressure. They love to blitz. And we haven't seen that. They've kept it basic today. It's been mostly a 4-man rush. We'll maybe in the second half still press a little more on the corners and bring some pressure.
They can't man up with Robertson or Stovall. And neither Hansen, for that matter. They can't play man against those guys.
2nd and 4. Wary seemed to get tripped up, but picked up about 3 down to the 45-yard line. 3rd and short. Poyet making the stop on the play. You talked about the secondary. Vance Bedford told me before the game, the defensive coordinator for the Longhorns, if Davis and Hill can grow up quickly, they have star potential. Third and 2. You know you're playing fast when the chain gang on the sidelines is trying to keep up.
Fast.
Yeah.
We had about 100 plays in the first half and 68 points.
Coming into the game, Cal was averaging about 95 snaps per game. We hope you're still up on the East Coast, folks. It's about 1:15 a.m. Sonny Dykes has had issues with the spot of the ball tonight.
Yeah, that led him to try or gamble in the first half. Cost him a 4th down and turned the ball over, and Texas ended up getting a field goal. But yeah, he has not been happy with where the placement of the ball is. But remember, you've got Big 12 officials on the field, Pac-12 replay officials in the booth.
Take one more look at what it is.
Yeah, you got an official saying 1st down, but you got the marker saying 3rd down.
So, and the ball had to get to the 45-yard line for a 1st down. It's 3rd down.
Yeah, but Sonny's saying, but you said 1st down. Yeah. You pointed, and that affects our speed and our play calling and everything.
Taken out of the rhythm a little bit. Backside heat. And Webb brought down by Hager.
We said they needed more pressure, and Hager comes around the end. It's been the left side that Texas has attacked. Now, keep in mind, Cochran has been playing with a bad knee, and his backup Macari has had an ankle. That is the side that Texas has had success with when they've been able to bring some pressure.
Hager's a great pass rusher. His dad played at Texas. His motor always at 100 miles per hour.
Isn't his dad like the all-time leading tackler or something?
Corey Warwick back for the punt at the 15-yard line. That was the 2nd sack of the night for the Longhorns. A nice directional punt, which drives Warwick out of bounds on the 46-yard effort. Spotted at the 10. 1st and 10 for Buechele when we come back.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Hyundai. And Chick-fil-A. We didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich.
Something about this Cal band and trombones kind of evokes memories of Rod Gilmore and Stanford and the play.
Really? You know, I used to like you.
I still can't believe it happened either, Rod.
Yeah.
You saw it happen.
Always
you were there.
want to remind me of that 5 lateral play in 1982.
Should have been called back, right? Somehow, some way. Swoopes comes into the ball game.
We have a ball game here tonight. Yeah.
Sure do. Swoopes completes it to Jake Oliver with another reception here in the second half. Gains about 9. I wish we could write a different ending to that for you, Clark. I do. I'll just come out and say it.
Hey, look, it's one of the most iconic plays in the history of college football. Doesn't mean I have to like it.
2nd and 1. The 18-wheeler going to work, and Swoopes picks up the first down. Run, not to rub salt in it or anything, but what was your reaction? What'd you do that night after the game? I've never asked you that question, man.
Because you really are rubbing salt.
I'm just curious. I've been afraid to ask all this time. You know. Now I know you won't snap on me, or at least I hope you won't.
I did what most people do when you're disappointed. You're like, you know, sit and stare at a wall.
Yeah. Really?
No, you know, it was the last game of the season. It was the last game of the career.
Right.
You know, for a lot of us seniors, you know, myself, John Elway, and, you know, a bunch of other guys. So that was it. So you weren't heading out to a party. You just kind of like tried to figure out and see every highlight. Like, how did that happen?
Just got on the bus and went back to your dorm room?
I didn't go back. I went home.
Oh, you did? Oh, it's that bad, huh?
Well, yeah, it was bad. It's like, go home. Be done. Be done with it.
I'm hoping we could author another ending, even recreate something for you, but there's one of the descendants of the culprits there. Okay,
I'm over it.
That's for my man Rod right there.
You know,
don't sleep on the tuba players, man. You never know.
It's all good. Everything happens in sports for a reason.
There you go. Shane Buechele back in the ball game as Darius Allensworth, who we had a chance to visit with yesterday in the football offices, comes out of the ball game. The starting corner for the Bears. From the 28. Buechele back in and hands it off. Straight ahead, it's Foreman. And just to put a period on it, just one last period. Stanford won tonight for you against USC, right?
Yeah, I actually was.
Because I didn't want to leave it the other way.
No. We were talking about John Elway and you know, Steve Buechele, Shane's dad.
Right.
You know, was a roommate of John Elway's back at Stanford back in the day. Bringing it all full circle. Number 7.
Some Stanford royalty. First, actually, 4-yard gain, 3rd down coming up.
Well, a lot of people think it's the reason that Shane Buechele wears number 7. Personally, I think it's because, you know, Matt Saracen wore number 7.
Yeah, it's a Texas thing. Friday Night Lights.
But you know, Charlie Strong gave him number 16. He didn't get number 7 until the Notre Dame game.
And now number 18 in a quarterback. Tyrone Swoopes. On 3rd and 3. And this is what they do with him. Follows his lead blocker for the first down out to the 41-yard line. Davison makes the stop, but a 4-yard gain. You know, Tyrone Swoopes is a distant cousin of basketball Hall of Famer, WNBA player Cheryl Swoopes from the Houston Comets. Neat. Got a little Texas wall-to-wall here. This time Swoopes stopped up.
That was Looney. Looney made that play. You know, the transfer from Wake Forest blew that play up, got in there and gave Swoopes nowhere to go. And he's the kind of player that can be that active and disruptive. I need a little bit more of that to create some 3rd downs. If they do, Swoopes is not as confident a quarterback throwing the ball as that man is, which is why he's back in the game now in this 2nd and long.
Approaching 6 minutes to go here in the 3rd. Complete to the 46. And a nice flip somersault forward by John Burt. Gained 6 on the play, and
we haven't seen this exchange an awful lot. They're alternating the quarterbacks almost every play right now.
Got to be impressed with the fluid nature of their offense in light of the frequent changes at quarterback. Sometimes you see miscues on the snap, or they use a little bit too much time, or some motion up front.
False start. Offense. Number 56. The 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Just as I was saying, that they were very seamless.
Well, just how about the fact that after all the activity we had in the first half, we've had a 3rd quarter with no points scored so far. Yeah. I mean, the defenses have made a couple plays, but we've seen both offenses kind of be out of rhythm a little bit.
Buechele back in.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this change quarterbacks every play, but clearly they want Buechele in passing situations.
His dad, the former major leaguer, never forced football on him. And he almost forced that pass into an interception. Wow, that was a dangerous throw.
Yeah, Franklin was all over that. They are completely out of sync, completely out of rhythm, and now you start to get the sense that Cal defensively has kind of settled in. It's the deep ball, it's the screen passes. They don't really want to throw dangerous passes, curl routes, things over the middle, and Franklin felt that and jumped all over it. So you play the Texas passing attack for the deep routes and the screen passes.
Dixon into punt. A long and high driving spiral. Fielded by Bug Rivera. Right around the 7-yard line, where it'll be 1st down and 10. 97 yards away with Davis Webb. Week 2 Monday Night Football, matching up with the Eagles and Carson Wentz, who had a great debut, taking on Jay Cutler and the Bears at Soldier Field, 8:15 Eastern on ESPN. It all begins with Monday Night Countdown at 6, also streaming live on Watch ESPN. It's getting a little chilly here, although you never know it by some of the fans in the student section here at Memorial Stadium. 93 yards away, 1st and 10. Davis Webb.
Still like the matchup with Hansen.
Run it over the left side. A big hit on Muhammad.
And Jones, this is the formation I like when they're looking for Hansen. They go trips, 3 receivers to one side. It kind of isolates that corner on the far side, and Hansen works that very, very well.
Hansen with a touchdown catch already tonight. He came into the evening as the nation's leading receiver. Webb complete at the 23-yard line. That's Hansen gaining 8.
Yeah, you know, you put him in trips, you get him isolated on that corner, and he can run those curls where he can run by them.
Remember his story, folks. If you're just joining us, he was a Idaho State player, transferred after his first year. He was a walk-on a couple of years ago here at Cal. He was put on scholarship this season. 1st and 10. They set up the screen. Muhammad put his hat down and gained a couple of yards after contact. Hughes making the stop.
I know some people are worried about it. I'm okay with it, but Webb's transfer to Cal, some people see him as a mercenary, a guy who's focused on the NFL 4 or 5 months here, and then poof, he's gone. Are you okay with it?
You know what? I always see it in that if a student athlete gets his undergrad degree and he wants to transfer, if he's ready to transfer, and there's an opportunity for him to play at another school, I think that you can incentivize graduating and rewarding that student athlete with automatic eligibility at another school. That pass incomplete by Davis Webb, who we're talking about.
I think you're right. I agree with you. I think what's probably bothered some people in the field of academia is that he's kind of publicly said, hey, I'm trying out for the NFL. This is my 4 to 6 months to get some tape, get ready. I was at Texas Tech. I was a backup. I was hurt. I can play in the league. Here's my chance to show it. And I think some people are like, hey, isn't there something else beyond just the... Let him pursue his passion. I have no problem with it. Go for it.
He told us he was enjoying his class workload. 3rd and 7. Low snap, fumbled. But Webb able to escape. Incomplete on the sidelines. It'll be 4th down coming up for the Bears.
Yeah, that play was dead from the start with the bad snap. Did a lot just to save it and not have it become a turnover. Watch this. Just bad snap. And he's not the quickest quarterback getting to the edge, so nothing there.
We talked about Webb. He came straight to the football offices when he got on campus here back in the spring. And Nick Spavital, the offensive coordinator for the Bears, says, I feel like the kid lives with me. He gets to the football offices at 7 a.m., doesn't leave till about 10 o'clock at night. A long punt all the way back, bouncing at the 19. It'll be downed at the 10. And a great effort by Dylan Klump. Travels 64 yards as we take a look at this week's college football rankings, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
What a Saturday.
How high?
That's where I'm going to move those guys.
Wow, okay.
But just Ohio State with the win. You don't see Oklahoma in there. Texas has a chance. If Texas is to win tonight with Oklahoma's loss to Ohio State, Texas, in my view, becomes the team in the Big 12. It will be 3-0 if they win tonight with the win over Notre Dame.
They crack your top 10 here?
A bye, and then absolutely, if they win tonight, yeah, a bye and a chance to start conference play in 2 weeks. But that's what's at stake. With Oklahoma losing and TCU having a loss, Texas could be the team in the Big 12.
Longhorns trying to return to significance and prominence. They remain perfect on the college football season. 2-0 coming in. Warren runs it into the boundary, untouched, and then put his hat down, breaking a couple of tackles out to the 35-yard line. He got a good lead block from Connor Williams, number 55.
You said it, man. I mean, Connor Williams, just on the left side, eats up that entire area, gets a little bit of help inside, a huge hole.
Now out of the backfield, Gerard Hurd, the former quarterback who amassed over 520 total yards last year, a school record in this game against Cal, and now Hurd comes up limping. Raymond Davison
illegal substitution
face down on the turf.
On defense. That penalties decline. Result of the play is a 1st down. Injury timeout.
That's Davison, the 6'2" junior out of Encino, Cali. Guy that makes the calls at middle line. Pardon me, he's their will linebacker. Looked rather harmless, but it's easy to say from up here.
Yeah, really couldn't tell, but he is moving slowly.
Davison, one of the leaders, he makes the call for the linebackers. 6'2", 225. Yeah, you and Quint have talked all night about the size or lack thereof relative to the size of the running backs for Texas. They go 250 each.
Cal linebackers have been challenged tonight to play after play, run into those big backs, and occasionally a 250-pound quarterback.
What do you make of the quote-unquote run fits that were their concern coming into the ballgame, considering Pumphrey of San Diego State went for 281 against them last year?
Yeah, well, they struggled in the first half. Cal's done a better job here in the second half with that, and Texas has been out of sync, and I'm not sure that the whole quarterback exchange play after play has helped Texas in this 3rd quarter.
1st and 10. Again, he's been the workhorse for them tonight. Not much room that time. Stopped up for no gain. Jordan Kanashik in on the stop. 2nd and 10. It looked like there was a little motion up front. So after a high-scoring first half, under 2 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter, neither team has scored.
False start. Offense. Number 77. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
I think penalties in this 3rd quarter have hurt that Texas offense as much as anything. I mean, the rhythm hasn't been there because of these 5-yard penalties and the like they get for illegal procedure.
It's a Texas team that has not had a problem scoring points this year. They scored 50 points in that season-opening upset win against Notre Dame. Buechele dropped by John Burt, who, as I mentioned the Notre Dame game, he had a critical drop in that game when he was open on a 9 route. Came back to make amends for that, but had a drop there. He's a track guy, the hurdler. Third and long. They're 6 of 11 on 3rd down tonight.
2 safeties playing back very deep.
They come underneath, complete, but way short of the 1st down at the 48 to Dorian Leonard, who picks up 7. So 4th down coming up for Texas, down by 2 here. Under a minute and a half to go in the 3rd quarter, where neither team has put any points on the board.
Far different from the first half when there was a torrid pace. Both teams kept finding the end zone.
Rivera back at his 10-yard line. End over end punt by Dixon comes down at the 14. That'll be 1st down and 10. Well, after we wrap up here in Berkeley, don't miss Sports Center at night with Lisa Kearney and John Anderson. We'll have all the highlights from college football, baseball, playoff races, the World Cup of Hockey, NFL news, and everything else from the world of sports. Also streaming live on the ESPN app, as well as Watch ESPN. 1st down and 10. Davis Webb in at quarterback. Trey Watson in the backfield beside him. On the outside, a little receiver screen complete. Stovall picks up 12.
Both teams doing a better job of trying to mix it up in this 2nd half. Run and pass.
This time they run it. That's Trey Watson. Knocked up by Malik Jefferson. Picks up a yard on the play. Talked about Jefferson a little bit earlier. He was a freshman All-American last year. One of the stars of the very robust and strong, there he is, recruiting class of Charlie Strong in 2015. And getting up a little bit slower, not at all right now, holding his left side.
Leans in with that right shoulder, and Trey Watson met him head on. Looks like he took it with the right shoulder, right area around the right side of the helmet. He's holding that right arm, right shoulder, hanging there like that was the area that was affected.
We were down on the field before the game, and you look at some of those Texas players, and you can see that Charlie Strong's got some 4- and 5-star kids that he's got there in Austin who are ready to go and bring this program back to prominence. Jefferson, one of them. I mean, there's some few guys that make my all-hotel lobby team. Good coming through that hotel pregame.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, Texas looked in the first half like they were in position to open this up, kind of run away with it. And Cal fought back late in the 2nd quarter and actually took the lead right before halftime. And we've had no scoring since then.
Whoa. Stuck on 35-33. Who would have thought? After all the pyrotechnics in the first half. The first 45 minutes in the books. Texas looking to remain undefeated. Cal looking to bounce back after their loss last week. Back in the Pac-12 after dark, right after this. And welcome back, everyone. College football finale on ESPN, presented by Geico. After all the points in the first half, a couple of big zeros looming on the board in the third quarter.
46 yards of offense for Cal in the third quarter. Not good enough. Won't get it done.
2nd and 8. Still leading by 2. Nice run by Trey Watson. Only about 3 and a little on that play. Third down coming up, Rob.
Yeah, you know, we talked earlier about another receiver stepping up and helping Hansen, and that happened early with Stovall, but if that's not happening, you got to find a way to get Hansen back.
Hansen got knocked down. Davis Webb fumbles it loose. Looked like Webb got it back. Ooh.
Well, that's just careless with the football. I mean, you've got to treat it with more respect. He waves it around one-handed, running around. You know, little Joe Namath about him back in the day. Look, you know what? 2 hands on the football, buddy. You got to care about it, and he loses it.
So you're telling me George Whitfield, who we worked with, wouldn't have told him to do it that way?
He'd tell him you always got to be in that hot position with that football with 2 hands, ready to get rid of it.
Yeah, he worked with George this offseason, and maybe George got a clip of that. Maybe you can send it to him, Ron.
Well, that puts you in a tough spot there.
4th and 17. Plump to punt and flags down.
Delay a game on the kicking team. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
You do know that Mr. Whitfield tapes everything and sees everything, every pupil that he's had.
Yeah. He's hard on those guys. Makes them better, though. I'm going to back it up. Plump going to try it again from his own 1. And keep an eye on Jones. Brandon Jones blocked one for a safety earlier. This time, Plump well protected, and Foreman back at the 47-yard line. The Longhorns in good field position after the 32-yard punt, and Buechele ready to take the field again, Rob, confidently.
You know, he started really, really hot, and then he took that hit in the first quarter, and then things got a little bit dicey. There's a pick by Rubinser in the second quarter. And just a little bit late on a throw, late on another throw. You just wonder. And when he's on time, a drop by Bird. So, affected a little bit by the hits in the first half. Remember, he did miss a fair amount of the first half. 4 of 7 in the second half for only 32 yards.
Do you think this 2-quarterback system can go the entire season?
Yeah, I do, when it's defined roles. But when you alternate them play to play, I don't think that works. You lose rhythm.
They fake the jet sweep and hand it off up the middle of Foreman. And nothing but real estate. Untouched touchdown. Hole up the middle awaiting Deontay Foreman, and Rod, he took advantage of it. His 2nd rushing touchdown of the season. There was nobody close to him once he got through that initial wave. The extra point good, and the Longhorns leading by 5. Foreman taking it the distance. And it's all sealed with a kiss. Deontay Foreman on the bench there for the Longhorns with the only score of the second half so far. 40-plus yard touchdown sprint a moment ago before we went to break, and Texas leading by 5. Mark Jones alongside Rod Gilmore and Kesnick down to the field. Longhorns trying to remain perfect on the season. From the goal line, Alfani Muhammad, former high school sprint state champion, brought down to the 25. Rod, what was the key on this run?
Well, a couple things I want you to see, Jonesy. The safety's going to vacate the middle with some motion, but watch the great blocking, and in particular Blewett, the tight end fullback, as he comes up with a great block, pushes open the backer, and it is wide open. Safety vacated. There's nobody home. It's just a sprint for Foreman, and he can sprint.
Well, they made it look easy. Webb out of the shotgun. Little receiver screen to Hansen. Hansen with a nice burst out to the 42. Tall with good speed, a low 4.5 40 guy, picks up 17.
A lot of confidence and trust between Webb and Hansen. He looks to him when times get tough.
The 41. Webb throwing it up for grabs. Hansen out of bounds. Ran out of room on the sidelines, and they're going to room it. A catch, actually, it looks like. They're talking it over. They're going to give him the catch at the 31.
I think he had one leg down while he was trying to reach up. He had one foot. Watch him. He keeps that right foot back down. It's actually the left one. Does he get it down? He does.
Whoa.
He does.
Wow.
He does.
A 28-yard gain for Hansen. What a catch by Chad Hansen. That's in Wary, brought down by Hager.
You see why Webb goes back to him? He knows he will make a play. So when it's third down or they need something to get a drive going, Hansen is the guy that he continues to look for.
Hansen, the Idaho State transfer. 2nd and 9. Ed hands it off to Wary. He's brought down after a gain of about 2 by Malcolm Roach. Davis Webb, the son of a football coach, his dad Matt, his mom Donna, a former All-American tennis player in college. 3rd and 7, and Texas, I want to call timeout. Did they get it in time?
Prior to the snap, timeout, Texas.
And they sure did. Facing a 3rd and 7 from their own 28. Charlie Strong wants to contemplate this. We'll be back right after this.
ESPN College Football is presented by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And in part by your local Lexus dealer and the pursuit of perfection.
Welcome back, everyone, to Memorial Stadium. Bears down by 5 against the 2-0 Texas Longhorns.
They flipped the formation. They took Hansen away from the trips and put him on the solo side. So maybe they're trying to isolate him over there.
3rd and 7. Hansen matched up against Chris Boyd. But they run it, and Wary keeps those legs moving. It's going to be close, but he appears to be about a yard short. Coach Dykes has had an issue with the spots all night, but that one certainly clearly he was short.
Well, he's got to go for it. He made that decision in the first quarter to go, so you got to go. You got to go now.
4th and 1. They try and Wary again, and he gets the first down.
You think anybody other than Inwiri was going to get that ball? The Texas native said he circled this game last year, circled it this year. You know he wanted that football on 4th and 1.
Malik Jefferson, who was shaken up earlier, is back in the ball game for the Longhorns, number 46. One of their playmakers. Texas late getting onto the field and getting lined up. Caught and out of bounds just before the pylon. Once again, Jordan Veazey.
And it's the route that we saw earlier when Stovall got a touchdown. It's just the inside receiver releasing outside, kind of a wheel route.
First and goal. And Weary moving the pile and stopped up short of the end zone. It'll be second and goal for the Bears. They're going quick again. Weary, and now it's Webb for the touchdown.
You know, Jonesy, you're in the fourth quarter up by 1. Book says go for 2.
That's what the chart says, huh?
Fourth quarter, safe to go for 2. Prior to the fourth quarter, don't chase points.
Davis Webb with his second rushing touchdown of the season. Really sold the fake to Nweri.
Yeah, you know, and that's got to mean something for Webb. In his entire career at Texas Tech, grew up a fan of Colt McCoy and UT, but never played against them until tonight.
Going for 2 here. On the reverse, Hansen turned on the turbos.
Who are you going to call? How much have we talked about it? Who do they trust? Hansen.
Hansen makes it a 3-point lead for the Bears.
And Weary carried it so often, everybody keyed on him. Webb picked up the go-ahead touchdown. And with everyone thinking about other things than the guy they should be, it's just a reverse to Hansen, the clutch guy that they count on in every clutch situation.
Number 6 for 6. Guy that has been wearing out that Longhorn defense all night long. Chad Hansen.
I mean, how good does that feel? You're a guy that had 1 scholarship offer to Idaho State. You send your tapes across the country. Nobody wants you. You walk on to Cal because they say, oh, okay, we'll take a shot at you. And now you are torching Texas and their 5-star recruits on the back end.
Yeah, it's tough to really state how big that is in the day and age of all these recruiting services, that a guy like him seemingly goes under the radar. It's not a situation where he was injured in his senior high school season or anything like that. Duvernay going to take it out. And Duvernay out to the 23-yard line. There was no horns down signal from Hansen celebrating his last touchdown. His play doing all his talking on that last 2-point conversion.
You know, Jonesy, despite all that we've seen in the 83 points, Cal defensively has still struggled to stop Texas running the football. You know, Buechele gives them the deep ball, but the power running inside is still an issue for Cal. 286 on the night for Texas.
That's been the story. And they add to the total here. That's Foreman, who scored a touchdown on his last touch. Picks up another first down with 11 yards. Deontay Foreman out of Texas City, Texas. 6'1" junior. Well over 100 yards tonight.
Texas loves to use their big tight end slash fullback in the run game. Inside.
Keep an eye on Andrew Beck leading the way there for Foreman. That time got about a yard. Vanderbilt making the tackle.
Normally, as Q will tell you as we watch tape, where 47 goes in the run game, that's where the football goes for Texas.
Foreman has run it 17 times for 150 yards. Buechele. Boy, nice catch and run here from Foreman. Monty Foreman, no relation, picks up 19.
Cameron Walker, the nickelback, had a chance to pick that off for Cal had he looked up. He went for the receiver instead of the ball, or else that's going the other way.
This time they run it to Deontay Foreman. Three-yard gain on the play, 2nd and 7. Knee down, and Foreman with a good catch there. Picks up 9. Brothers Foreman doing a job here. This is Deontay. Both out of Texas City, Texas.
Good play by Saffel, chasing that down from behind.
No gain on the play. Wonder how much of Swoopes we might see down the stretch here. Buechele taking the snaps here, taking a shot. Foreman incomplete. And good coverage down the sidelines by Josh Drayton.
They run it inside. They throw the little hitches or the stop routes to try to pull the defense up and then throw it over your head. Now's a big 3rd down. Cal still struggling to get pressure on Buechele.
Empty formation. Big play here, down by 3. On the fringes of field goal range. Buechele delivers a dart complete for the 1st down at the 23 to Duvernay.
Well, when you only rush 3 and you drop 8, the idea is to take away the underneath routes. But Cal dropped back too far and gave them that easy throw. Now you've got this 4th down where clearly the 18-wheeler is in play.
A 9-yard gain on that last play. Timeout down to the field. Well, folks, I want to make a correction. A moment ago I misspoke. Said that Monty Foreman was not related to Deontay. They are brothers.
They're twins.
Yeah.
Twins, and Amani was more heavily recruited than Deontay.
They've both been a factor here on this drive, and there it is. 4th down coming up.
Look at all the room. You drop 8 guys into coverage, but
The ruling on the field is that the runner was short of the 1st
everyone
down.
gives up that
The previous play is under
yardage
further
close to the
review.
1st down, and it looked from that marker, our marker,
That he made it.
that he might have made that.
They're going to review this, Rod.
And good call by Charlie Strong to complain about the spot.
Is it just me, or has the spot been a contentious issue tonight?
Well, yeah.
Does it feel that way?
Sure, we've seen Sonny Dykes complain
Yeah.
all evening about the spot. And again, we've got a Big 12 officiating crew on the field and a Pac-12 replay crew in the booth. Now, so long as a whistle didn't blow to stop his progress, it looks like the tackle occurred where he got beyond our marker.
I had said the 1st down because it appeared by the marker that he did get it.
And absent a whistle being blown and then spotting it earlier, that should be a 1st down.
Looks like they spotted it at about the 23.5, but he got to the 22.5. Let's take one more look.
Look for any indication that he was down beforehand. And there really isn't. I mean, that's the first place where you see any body part touch down.
After reviewing the play, the ball will be placed at the 23-yard line, the back nose of the football on the 23-yard line, and will remeasure.
So they will move it up a little bit.
Dykes can't take it. He just can't take it. He's complained about what, 4 or 5 spots tonight. He hasn't won any of them.
It's been a bit of a deal tonight. They are trying his last nerve. 8:17 to go.
So much riding on this for both these programs tonight. Cal thinking they have a shot, a young team, chance to get to a bowl this season after getting to a bowl last season. And Texas thinking they're back. Chance to go 3-0 and sit atop the Big 12 early in the season.
A chance to become the flagship team of the conference.
TCU has lost 1. Oklahoma's lost 2. The Big 12 is wide open right there for Texas to take if they can win tonight and get on a streak in conference.
Swoopes in the ball game at quarterback for the Longhorns.
2 tight end set. All this says power running.
Handed off to Deontay Foreman,
and Texas doesn't care that Cal has 8 men in the box. Yeah, they look at him and they said, "You're puny 8 little guys. We're coming right at you."
Yeah, definitive size advantage up front. 10th play of the drive coming up for Texas.
It's the same thing. Couple tight ends in there. 8 guys in the box for Cal. Texas is looking like they're content to grind it, go right after it.
Well within field goal range right now for Trent DeMay. Swoopes bouncing it outside. And there's a flag down. Swoopes was brought down right around that first down marker, but Andrew Beck in and around the area of that flag.
Holding. Offense. Number 47. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay second down.
That will change everything, and that'll bring Buechele back onto the field.
Shane Buechele, the true freshman. Son of Steve Buechele, the former Major League Baseball player.
Just can't be a good rhythm, you know, to be yanked in and out on a drive like this. And he's going to have to make a throw or 2. And that's why he's in there.
7 minutes to play. Hands it off and a fumble. It's on the ground. Foreman put it on the ground. Looney was the one that made the hit, and the Longhorns recover the loose ball. Clock running with 6:40 to go.
Just put it on the ground. Clean exchange.
Yeah.
He just lost it. Can't take a sack here if you're Buechele. You have at least the possibility of a field goal in your back pocket.
Foreman split wide to the bottom of your screen. One half of the Twins, Monty Foreman. Buechele finds his slot receiver complete at the 18. That's Oliver. But he's short of the first down by several yards.
And Cal was very, very soft in coverage, content to give up a few yards there, and makes it a much more makeable field goal for Texas.
Now, Trent DeMay, though, just 1 of 3 tonight.
Yeah, but he's missed a couple beyond 40.
Yeah, he's missed from 53 and 49, converted from 38.
Yeah, this should be well within his range at 35.
They had some kicking issues last year in this game against Cal that cost them the game ultimately. And he barely gets that inside, that left upright. And we're knotted at 43 with 5.5 minutes to go. offensive clinic tonight. 86 points and counting, folks. And welcome back. We won tied with less than 5.5 to go. Take a look at the last drive by the Bears, and a key play here. Hansen.
Big catch by Hansen, or so-called catch.
Was it a catch?
Kept the drive alive, and then VC sets up the scoring touchdown run by Webb. But that catch by Hansen that kept the drive alive. We'll take another look at that and get back to it.
Yeah, sometimes you never really know what's a catch when you watch football these days. From the 7, it's Muhammad. Outside, and it's loose. Ball was jarred loose, but the Bears recovered it at the 35. One more look at that catch by Chad Hansen, and tell me why it wasn't.
Look, don't worry about the foot. Look at the ball and the catch. Now, when you leave your feet, you must return to the ground and have maintained control throughout the process. He catches, he loses, he doesn't seem to have control, he recatches it. That's not maintaining control throughout the process after leaving your feet. That should have been an incomplete catch on that drive. Would have created a 2nd and long. Who knows what would have happened.
1st and 10, and yeah, that play was not reviewed either by the officials.
Yeah, they didn't stop the play and look at it.
Tied at 43, much more like last year's matchup between these two teams. Hughes makes the stop on Kalfani Muhammad. Last year, Cal won 45-44. Texas with a late missed field goal, which would have won it. 2nd and 10 coming up. Davis-Webb, a little blitz coming. Wide open over the middle of the field. Caught, and all the way down to the 32. It's Jordan Veazey, who has been big time for the Bears.
Free safety in the middle, overplaying towards Hansen. Vacates the inside. There's Veazey. Just goes right to that spot.
A 30-yard gain and a 1st down. Veazey had the first touchdown catch of this ball game tonight. Wary inside of field goal range for Matt Anderson. Wheeler makes the stop on the 7-yard gain.
Time is not a factor right now. If you're Cal, you keep your rhythm. You keep going. You're trying to get 7. You're not trying to slow down the clock here.
Davis-Webb, a little receiver screen. Hansen trying to shake loose, but well defended there on the perimeter. Hansen knocked out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Looks like it's enough for the 1st down, though. Approaching 4 minutes to go. Davis-Webb looking up top into traffic and out of bounds. Veazey was the intended target again, but they had the safety over the top, Rod, and well defended.
Well, Texas is rolling a safety for double coverage to that trips formation side because of Hansen. That time Veazey was the one who went deep, but they don't want that deep throw going to Hansen anymore.
Little receiver screen. That time they break loose. Worstel pushed out of bounds at the 12, and another 1st down, a gain of 13.
Yeah, well, they got to get Hansen back on the field. They went with backup receivers that time. Here comes Hansen back on the field. You need that threat. Even if you don't go to him, he's drawing 2 guys.
Worstel did his job and subs back onto the ball game. 1st and 10 from the 13.
They can run inside, too.
A little pressure coming on the slant. Touchdown Bears! Hansen.
He has just owned this secondary. It is unbelievable. It's just a slant. He's got one guy sitting outside expecting help inside. Poor communication. No discussion between the safety and the corner. He runs free. He finds it, feels it. And the secondary of Texas just mistake after mistake.
Chad Hansen, the Idaho State transfer, with his second touchdown of the night. 11 catches tonight, 193 yards. Second touchdown, started from the bottom, but now he's here. All right, guys, a big edition of Sports Center coming up, but plenty of football to be played here. Chad Hansen with a touchdown catch a moment ago. He may not have 4.4 speed, but he's run by a lot of guys tonight that do. Duvernay on the return. And Duvernay bottled up at the 21-yard line. And folks, our Week 2 Monday Night Football matchup has the Eagles and Carson Wentz at quarterback taking on Jay Cutler and the Bears at Soldier Field at 8:15 Eastern on ESPN. It all begins with Monday Night Countdown at 6, also streaming live on Watch ESPN. Well, we're approaching the bottom of the hour. It's almost 2:30 on the East Coast, 1:30 in Texas, and very early 11:25 here in Cali. And Shane Buechele, it's never too late for the freshman to do something big here.
Well, these are the situations which create legends. Fourth quarter comebacks, situations to save your team, bring them back, and he's firmly in the spotlight of that right now.
Little receiver screen complete to Gerard Hurd. He stopped up behind the line of scrimmage, a loss of 1 on the play. Good to see Hurd back. He was shaken up a little bit earlier in the contest. Second down and 11.
He's facing a defense that is playing soft in the middle of the field, trying to force him to check down and not to take deep shots.
Buechele going to sling and now take off. And bottled up. He took a big hit at the 22 by Devontae Downs. He picked up 2, but the Longhorns are looking at a 3rd and long. They've got to get beyond the 30 for the first down. 3rd and 9.
Can they protect him? And do they dare break their tendency and try and throw over the middle? Everything has been to the outside by and large.
This is a huge down. It's 7 of 14 on 3rd down tonight. Buechele brought down right around the line of scrimmage.
Devontae Davis was spying on him, sitting back about 10 yards, watching for Buechele to come out of the pocket. And as soon as he made a move, he went right after him and made the play. Here's number 1. He's spying Buechele the entire time. He doesn't care about a pump fake. He goes right after him.
Wondering why perhaps they're not going for it here on 4th down. They punt with under 2 minutes to go and 2 timeouts remaining. That's Bug Rivera brought down after the 42-yard punt.
Well, Charlie Strong has to be thinking he's got a couple of timeouts. He thinks that the Cal rushing attack they can handle, that they won't throw it down here, and they'll get another chance with the ball. Well, we've seen Sonny Dykes gamble. Yeah. It would not be beyond the realm of possibility for Dykes to take a shot, to have Davis Webb throw the ball here. Would not be a surprise at all, particularly with the trust and confidence that they have in Webb to Hansen.
Hansen approaching 200 yards receiving tonight. Alfani Muhammad in the backfield, and he gets the call on the carry between the tackles, and a nice gain. Ford finally bringing him down, a gain of 6. Texas with 2 timeouts. And they're going to burn one right here.
30 seconds in duration.
But why is Cal rushing to the line of scrimmage? The clock is not your friend.
Yeah, tell me about this air raid system, and how does it work against you, if at all, at these times, this juncture of the game?
You don't bleed the clock, and the game goes on. And I think Sonny Dykes has told his guys, hey, slow it down. We run a play. We don't have to rush to the line of scrimmage. Force them to use their timeout and burn the clock.
If that's not who you are, though, when you tell your team to slow it down, how do you suddenly do that?
You do it because it's about clock management. You have to do that.
Q?
I'm not sure they know how to huddle. And it's a lot easier standing around in a huddle than it is standing around at the line of scrimmage.
Good point.
There they go, 2nd and 4, 1:35 to go after the Texas timeout. The Horns with just one remaining now. They need a couple of big plays on defense. Muhammad again stopped up a yard short of the first down by Anthony Wheeler. It'll be 3rd down and about 1 to go.
Texas takes his 3rd and final timeout of the half.
And now with their final timeout expired, after this, Texas needs a stop or else it's done.
Yeah, this is it. I mean, they've got to get a 3rd down stop. If they get the stop, even if Cal punts it on 4th down or runs it on 4th down, they'll get the ball back. They'll have a shot. More than likely, if they don't pick it up here, Cal will kick it away. But this is it for Texas right now. They need a stop in the worst way. So expect to see everybody lined up and focused to go after it. And if you are Dykes, again, trust. Who do you trust? You trust Hansen. You've run reverses with him. You've thrown pitches to him. Is he the guy that you count on to end the game by getting it to him?
Yeah, they haven't been able to stop him as far as Texas is concerned all night.
So if you're not going to go that route, the guy that you give it to is Inweri, the Texas native, who has gotten you some tough yards tonight.
Inweri in the backfield. They've got their big fullback, Malik McMorris, a 300-pounder back there too. Hansen split wide to the bottom of your screen, number 6. 3rd and 1. Horns need a stop to keep their hope alive. Webb hands it off, and Wary, and here's your punctuation point. Bears touchdown, home run. A 55-yard sprint. May have sealed the deal. Let's see if he dropped this ball early. That's been a little bit of a plague. Oh, he might have.
The Missouri City native styling a little bit. I'm not sure he crossed that goal line.
Under further review.
I don't think he got there. How many times have we seen this over the years?
They are going to really have to look at this, folks, because it appeared as if Inweri did not cross the goal line.
How many times simply run into the end zone? The game would be over. Just run into the end zone. No issue.
See if anyone picks it up in the immediate aftermath of it. He kind of turned around like he...
It's picked up by Texas.
So hold on. Pump the brakes here for a minute, folks. The ruling on the field is a touchdown, but this has an opportunity to be reversed, and Coach Dykes might know it too.
Yeah, and again, the question is, does the ball break the plane? Do you have indisputable evidence of whether it broke the plane?
That angle was not definitive.
This is the best look we've had so far. Ball looks out, and he does not look like he's broken the plane.
His left foot wasn't even close to crossing the line.
Exactly.
So,
and you just ask, why? Why? Why not take another step or two?
Unbelievable what's transpired here. And Coach Dykes seems to know it.
Texas may still have life.
Yeah, they don't have any timeouts remaining, but they do have a full 121.
Can you believe how crazy college football can be? Unbelievable.
You know, I guess you're so wide open, you kind of lose yourself in the moment and let go of the ball a little bit early, but they're taking a real close look at this. must have indisputable video evidence to overturn the call on the field.
Well, and the look that we had, we could see no part of his body appeared to cross the goal line, and the ball was further behind him.
The receiver fumbled the ball, or turned the ball loose at the 1 yard line. There was no immediate recovery. Cal retains the ball at the 1 yard line. First down.
So they're saying there was no recovery, even though Texas picked up the ball in the end zone.
No immediate recovery was the exact word.
Yeah, and so they're saying the play had to be blown dead. Charlie Strong is arguing, saying, wait a minute, that's a live football. Why are you blowing the whistle? Someone should have to recover it.
Charlie Strong incensed on the sidelines.
You have Big 12 officials on the field, Pac-12 review officials, replay officials in the booth. And what a break Cal gets by there not being an immediate recovery by Texas, a delayed recovery.
Texas out of timeouts. Webb takes a knee back at the 6 yard line. And boy, if you're the Bears and Davis Webb, and now how quickly the emotions sway and run the entire gamut on that Bear sideline. A Bear hug by Coach Dykes. And pensive Charlie Strong and disappointed on the other side.
I think I literally have seen a guy drop the ball going into the end zone half a dozen times.
Yeah. It's becoming somewhat of a thing now in college football. And that'll just about do it. Davis Webb and the Cal Bears get their second win of the season, upsetting nationally ranked Texas. And a very pivotal and controversial ending to this ball game, something that will be looked at, examined, and scrutinized in the ensuing days.
Another ranked team falls today. What a Saturday.
Texas with their first loss of the season here in Berkeley, despite a courageous effort from Shane Buechele. Hansen with a career-high 196 yards, meanwhile, for the Bears. Coming up next, Sports Center. For Rod Gilmore, Quick Kesenick, I'm Mark Jones. Right now, we're going to send it to Sports Center with John Anderson and Lisa Kearney. Good night, everybody.
Coach, how do you best describe this scene behind you?
Well, we certainly made it interesting there at the end of the ball game. Vic made a mistake. He's a great kid. I hate that he did that, but we were fortunate to win the ball game. It's a hell of a ball game. These guys, I mean, they played their tails off. I'm really proud of them.
What's going through your mind when you see him drop the ball at the goal line?
You know, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't see it. I just kind of found out after the fact, and you know, we were just fortunate it worked out the way it did.
How do you best describe this game? I mean, at halftime, it was an absolute shootout. It settled down. What made the difference?
You know, both teams played hard. I mean, we just kept fighting and hung in there. And you know, the third quarter, we had a hard time getting going. We stopped ourselves a couple of times, but I love these kids, man. They just kept fighting and hung in there, and really proud of them.
What's it like coaching a kid like Chad Hansen from Idaho State? Sent you a tape, and all of a sudden he's a big-time star. Yeah,
you know, he's one of those guys, works hard. He's a great story. I just can't say how proud I am of these guys. I mean, we played hard, and the guys deserved it.
Coach, congratulations. Send things back to Bristol with John and Lisa.